Live from Father Bly Field here at Layton Stadium, the Regional Radio Sport Network brings you South Bend St. Joseph Huskies football. Tonight, week 3 of the 2025 regular season, and it's conference time, conference opener here in the Northern Indiana Conference between the New Prairie Cougars, who come in with a record of 0-2, taking on the South Bend St. Joseph Huskies with a record of 2-0. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. J.P. Gilbert, along with my broadcast partner, Ron Aklinski, and Megan Keeble, bringing the sights and sounds from beautiful and very sunny downtown South Bend. And, Coach, Huskies come into tonight's matchup fresh off a 26-0 whitewash of the Archers of Fort Wayne Southside down in the Summit City, and they were able to do it on both sides of the ball, and they have been led by a couple of outstanding juniors at the quarterback position, but just as important, a really good junior in James Cornetti in the free safety linebacker position.
Yeah, without question, JP, they're a really solid football team. Ben Downey's back for his second stint as the head coach at St. Joe. In a 10-year period, he's 67-45. Last year, his third year, I believe he had the Indians/Huskies at a 6-4 record, getting them back to respectability. Now those young kids that he's played, they're a year older. They're very, very talented. As I look at their team, they almost have that situation where they can do it all. They have two quarterbacks, like you said, and the old adage is if you have two quarterbacks, you don't really have one. Well, that's not true for St. Joe. St. Joe has two really, really talented and really good quarterbacks, with a 6'1" junior, Sam Chicatano, 20 for 28 this year, 256 yards, 1 TD, and then another junior, 5'10", Anthony Gooby, who slings the ball around the yard also at 13 for 20. He's more of a runner. He's more of an athlete. They have great receivers in Dallas Downey and in James Cornetti. They have a couple of tight ends that can get to the middle of the field and hit those intermediate routes in Charlie Gruey and Radigan. And then defensively, they've given up 6 points, and they gave that 6 points up on a missed tackle along the sideline. St. Joe is a really, really good football team, and I'm looking forward to their performance tonight. They got 62 guys dressed. New Prairie's got 83 guys dressed. It's a beautiful night. The weather's phenomenal. There's going to be no heat issue tonight. As a matter of fact, I got my Columbia Blue Jordan sweat jacket on. I'm ready to roll, man.
You were looking for the Columbia Blue Jordan shoes to go with that little ensemble as well.
As we still looking for those.
As we switch gears over to the Cougars, Ryan O'Shea brings his team over to the South Bend area. He's looking for his first win not only of the season, but as the head coach of New Prairie after coming over from Lakeland after 5 seasons. He has a talented squad. They're very, very young, though, and it's still looking for its identity here in week 3. But he's got a veteran leader at the controls. He's got a kid that has won a state championship in baseball in Reed Robinson, and he's looking for that kind of leadership from his quarterback to kind of dissipate down into the lower levels, into the lower classmen as well. And he's looking for Reed Robinson to have not only a big game tonight, but a big NIC senior season.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question about that. When you talk about Ryan O'Shea, you talk about coaching football royalty in the state of Indiana. Ryan's dad, Kevin O'Shea, just an outstanding high school coach, had great years at Lafayette Central Catholic, is the head coach at Twin Lakes today. Ryan's grandfather, Frank O'Shea, grew up in the Leidick area, went to New Carlisle High School, and had a great coaching career at Lafayette Jeff. So he's a he's a very, very familiar name to the people in New Carlisle. Like you alluded to, he's he had the head coaching job at Lakeland when 19-33, but the program at New Prairie is accustomed to winning. Before Ryan was the head coach, Casey McKim spent 5 years at the helm, went 48-7, and before Casey McKim was the Hall of Famer, the great Russ Radke, who spent about 8 years at New Prairie and went 78-20, played for a state championship game. So there's a lot on the line in New Prairie. They have great football. They love their football at New Carlisle, and it's a tough deal for Ryan, because when you mix inexperience with a new head coach, it's going to take a while to get it rolling.
It should be a good one here in Week 3 between the Cougars and the Huskies. When we come back, we go one-on-one with the head coach of New Prairie, Ryan O'Shea, in his 6th season overall and his first season as head coach of the New Prairie Cougars. As you're watching pregame coverage of St. Joseph Huskies football here on the Regional Radio Sports Network. Welcome back to Regional Radio Sports Network's coverage of St. Joseph Huskies football. Glad to be joined pregame by the bench boss in his first season at New Prairie after coming over from Lakeland, Ryan O'Shea. And Coach, let's go back to your first 2 games against Northwood and LaPorte. How did these 2 non-conference games prepare your squad for a tough NIC gauntlet? But just as important, what did your coaching staff learn about your squad in those first 2 games?
Oh, well, first of all, those are 2 tremendous programs, and we have a lot of respect for both of them. And, they play like NIC teams. They play, the high-level football. And so that really gets us prepared for this conference schedule that we're about to embark on here in the next few weeks. And, we're excited to be over here at Father Bly Field and for this game tonight. And we really are excited to see what these kids got. As far as what we've learned from our kids, we got some different kids playing different positions, moving them around, trying to put them in the best position to succeed. We also, have learned several kids that are sophomores and juniors. We have a really young squad that are growing up very quickly and trying to learn how to play varsity football on the fly. And so a lot of times you got a young kid here and there, they can kind of hide them amongst some of the older kids, but we don't have that luxury. We've got a lot of young kids playing, and that's a good thing for the future, obviously, but for right now, we're definitely learning, and we're trying to get better on a daily basis.
One of those kids that kind of exudes that leadership and confidence is your quarterback, Reed Robinson. Won a state title a couple years ago for the Cougars. But what do you guys see in as a coaching staff, just in the way he presents himself on and off the field? But how is he a mentor to those younger kids on your team, especially on the offensive side?
Yeah, every single kid on our team looks up to him, no matter what age it is. And so he's such a gravitational force within our program, and he really he works really hard. He's definitely our hardest worker on the team, which is something that you want out of your leaders. And that's something that the young kids look at and want to emulate with their game moving forward is they want to do everything that Reed Robinson does. And so he's not only a tremendous athlete on the field, getting a Division I scholarship to Northern Illinois for baseball, but he's also a kid that is great off the field. He's a really nice kid. He's never an issue. He's got great grades. He does everything the right way, and he's everything that if you've got a young kid, that's looking at our program, you want your kid to be like Reed Robinson.
You got 2 outstanding seniors on defense in Trenton Mamaza as well as Noah Oberly, both with double-digit tackles already in the season. You got a young defensive unit, lots of juniors and sophomores, but they seem to be taking on that leadership responsibility that Reed takes on the offense, but they're taking it on the defense. What do you see out of them, in the leadership perspective that allows your defense to become better week in, week out?
Oh, sure. Noah definitely leads us on defense, and his communication and his passion and the way he plays the game is something that our young kids definitely look up to as well. And, we've had some other younger kids on that side of the ball really step up. Coulter Smith, he has had several double-digit tackle ball games already this year at our free safety spot, and he's just a sophomore. And Noah really has mentored him and helped him out with trying to take over the old Hayden Scott role that Hayden held down there for several years here at New Prairie. And, those young kids are just, like I said earlier, they're just learning, and they're trying to get better on every single day. And, if they don't lose that work ethic, we're going to obviously be better off in the future, not only next year, but later on this season. I feel like those kids are going to grow up very quickly. And Coulter's definitely one of those kids that has already grown up tremendously within the first month or so of the season.
I know you've only been at the job for New Prairie for only a couple games, but what are some of the differences or some of the similarities you see between some of these NIC teams and the Northeast Corner Conference where you came from when you were coaching over at Lakeland?
Oh, I mean, it's the coaching. There's tremendous coaches, not only in the Northeast Corner, but definitely here in the NIC, and there's some programs that have a lot of history and tradition. It's good old-fashioned Northern Indiana football, no matter how you look at it. And, those are the similarities I see. Every single week, the coaching staffs that we go against put us to work. And, we never have a week off. You always got a game plan, always got to be on your A game as far as what your plan is going to be going into Friday nights. And so that's something that I took over from the NECC, where, we were going against a whole bunch of guys who have been doing it for a really long time, and Andy Thomas and Coach Depew over at Garrett, Coach McWhorter at West Noble. Like, those guys really push you, and they've been coaching for over 25, 30 years. And so it's one of those where you've got to be on it every single week, or else you're going to take your lumps on Friday night.
All right, Coach, when all is said and done, what do the New Prairie Cougars have to do, offense, defense, special teams, to come out of here with a win and get your first win, not only as a member of the NIC this year, but also your first win at New Prairie?
I think we just got to play a complete game. We play a game here and there, a few plays here and there, but we got to put it all together at once. And that's what youth does to you. You got to be consistent. And so if we can be consistent and move the football effectively, if we can get some stops, just play our game and don't try to do anything super special. Control the clock, control the line of scrimmage, get stops when needed, and win the field position battle. Get a turnover here and there, and that's where we're going to win ball games. And as simple as it sounds, there's no magical plays that I can call that get us more points than others. There's nothing that I can do as far as magical stuff that like I said, like, there's nothing that's anything special. It's just going to be good old hard-nosed Northern Indiana football, and that's what it's going to take to win this ball game.
All right, Ryan, best of luck tonight.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We'll be back with more right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
Hi, this is Paul Condry of the Regional Radio Sports Network. That may be my professional title, but did you know that I'm also the son of a U.S. Navy World War II veteran and the proud father of a United States Marine? Let me share with you something very close to my heart. It's called the Semper Fi Fund, and its program America's Fund, which provides immediate lifetime support for post-9/11 wounded, critically ill, and injured members of the U.S. Armed Forces, veterans, and their families to ease recovery and transition back home to their communities. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. The basic idea that drives these efforts is simple. For as much as our heroes have sacrificed, they deserve the best care and support available in their hour of need, whenever it may occur. The Semper Fi Fund, a 4-star charity and an A+ rating, has served over 16,000 members since 2004. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. For more information, visit them online at www.semperfifund.org.
Welcome back to Regional Radio Sports Network's coverage of St. Joseph Huskies football. Glad to be joined pregame by the head coach of the Huskies, Ben Downey. And Coach, 2-0 to start the season. Good wins against Lakeland and Fort Wayne Southside. That one on the road. What have you guys seen in those 2 wins that give you guys as a coaching staff confidence that this year is going to be something special for St. Joseph football?
Well, we'll take things one game at a time, and in order to be special, we just have to be more consistent with our energy and focus at practice. So what I like is the playmaking ability of our guys, and I love how hard they play. So we ask the guys to prepare, to care, prepare, and to compete, and they compete at a really, really high level. And they've really stepped their game up in terms of caring and treating each other well and celebrating each other. And they've also improved in terms of preparation, but we believe that's probably the most crucial step that we need to have a special season, preparation.
You guys are going to honor the 95 state championship team at halftime. What team does that mean to you on a personal level, but what is that going to mean for these kids to watch some of those guys that they probably didn't see growing up, but they probably heard about them throughout the history of the program as probably the most special team that's ever come out of St. Joe High School?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's one of the better teams that come out of South Bend. And so, obviously I'm proud. It's pretty amazing just how much time has passed. I mean, it flies by. So I know they don't know who the heck we are unless they know that, some of us are like the fathers and uncles and things of that nature of some of the current players. And I know they haven't seen too much footage because it's super grainy. So anyway, it's one of those things where they know of this particular team. They do express interest in it. They want to kind of know, how they compare to that particular team. And so it's on their radar. But there's so much time has passed. They don't quite know the guys.
Well, one of these days we're going to break out the audio footage of that state title game against Jasper. We're going to let you guys as a coaching staff listen to that. But let's talk about this year's team, and especially the two quarterbacks that you got. You got Gooby and you got Chicatano. Both of them have just played amazingly in the first two games of the season. But how does their confidence just kind of exude, and it's almost contagious to the rest of that offense? And it just seems like every play the offense just seems to get better and better, no matter who you have either in the shotgun or under center.
Well, I hope that remains the case. But up to this point, they've done a good job, complementing each other in terms of what they're good at and what they need to improve. As I mentioned before, they treat each other well. The competition is actually friendly, which I know is really, really hard to do because everybody wants to be the guy. And it's nice that they kind of challenge each other in practice to really remain sharp and approach every little detail with as much focus as possible. So I think iron sharpens iron, and I'm hopeful that they continue to help each other mature and develop.
One of your defensive stalwarts is actually a junior, James Carnetti. Seems to be in on every play, whether it's through the air or on the ground. Just what have you seen from him, especially in practice and in the weight room, that maybe some of us who are watching the games just don't see in game film?
Well, James has wonderful genetics. He comes from both sides of his family are really into athletics and were really good. So, the good Lord blessed him with a lot of natural God-given ability, but to James's credit, he didn't just kind of sit on that and ride what was natural. He's really pushed himself in the weight room. He's worked at T2 quite a bit to improve his agility. He's a leader. He's a leader on and off the field. He's a leader up in the classroom. So he pretty much is just a high achiever, and he's something else to watch here. He's going to do wonderful things when he's done playing football. But it's really fun to watch him here, and I've told him before, I kind of had a feeling that he'd be one of the better defenders in the history of St. Joe, and he's on track to be up there with the best ever.
Well, if he plays defense the way his father played goal for the soccer team, he's going to be all right. All right, I'll get you out of here on this. New Prairie comes into town. They're 0-2. They've got a lot of young players, but they've got a good senior leader in quarterback Reed Robinson. But what do they do on film that could cause your team some problems? But what do you guguys have to do to come out of here 3-0?
I mean, honestly, I think the best thing about New Prairie is just how much the community loves football and how tough and mean they are. You can have a lot of people that play football but don't love it, and that's a challenge. And you can have some people that love to, do things with the ball and, play flag and things of that nature, but that doesn't work out too well once you put the pads on. So the greatest challenge with playing New Prairie is just the fact that they grew up loving football and that they're just a tough, hard-nosed team.
All right, Ben. Hey, best of luck tonight.
Thank you very much.
We'll be back with more here on the Regional Radio Sports Network. McDonald Physical Therapy and Sports Rehab Center with two locations at 1005 Hickory Road in South Bend and on the campus of Notre Dame.
The 12,000 Hoosier men and women with Laborers District Council and affiliated local unions that build Indiana. We are LIUNA.
Beef O'Brady's in Granger now features Fish and Chips Fridays. Enjoy our 4 fried cod fillets with fries and coleslaw for just $10.99. Located at State Road 23 in Bittersweet, Beef's is open for lunch at 11 a.m. 7 days a week. For more information, the website's www.beefobradys.com or call 574-271-1415. Beef O'Brady's, good food, good sports.
Tonight's broadcast is being underwritten by our friends at Cubit Networks, located at 103 Polk Street in LaPorte. Cubit Networks takes pride in helping keep their customers happy for all their technology needs. More information can be found on their website at Cubit.com or by phone at 219-369-4357. Cubit Networks, moving and storing data fast and safe. I have one question. Can you hold down the fort while I run down to Beef O'Brady's and get some fish and chips?
Absolutely. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Man. So,
Megan and I can hold down the fort.
Okay, so do you like a lot of tartar sauce?
Not really.
Okay, all right, cool.
Okay.
I'll see you in the second quarter.
Just make sure I get some shrimp.
All right, I'll see you in the second quarter.
Welcome back to the Regional Radio Sports Network's coverage of St. Joseph Huskies football. J.P. Gilbert, Ronna Klinsky, and Megan Keeble. I want to thank coaches Ben Downey of South Bend St. Joseph and Ryan O'Shea of New Prairie for just a little bit of their time before the Cougars and the Huskies take the field. And with that, we'll take a look at the starting lineups. First, for the St. Joe offense, and the lineup in front will be Nick Ortiz at the left tackle, 6'4", 275, and a senior. Gabe Cousins, 5'10", 239 junior, will be at the left guard position. Zachary Hardy, a 5'8", 250 junior, in the middle. Max Dalavas, 6'6", and 190, will be the right guard, the senior. And Jayton Snavely, 6'5", 315, and a junior, he'll be the right tackle. So Ortiz, Cousins, Hardy, Dalavas, and Snavely, the 5 up front. The backs and receivers, Antoine Ross, 5'9", 190, and a junior. James Cornetti, 6 foot, 200, and a junior. Dallas Downey, 6'1", 180, a senior. And Austin Radigan will be the tight end, 6'4", 225, and a senior. The running back, Franco Biffle, 6'1", 190, and a senior, has rushed for 129 yards in the 2 St. Joe wins. And the starting quarterback here in game number 3 for the Huskies is Sam Shikatano, 6'1", 170, and a junior. He's 20 for 28 on the season, 256 yards and a touchdown. He's also run for 23 yards and a score. Taking a look at the New Prairie defense, they run a 3-5-3. It'll be Luis Cruz, 5'10", 241, and a junior. James Hartle-Rose will not start tonight. It'll be Robert Putz, the 5'9", 177 senior, and Levi Kaplan, the 6'4", 238 junior, at the defensive tackle. So it was supposed to be Hartle-Rose, but it is now Robert Putz that will get the starting nod. So Cruz, Putz, Kaplan will be the 3 up front. The linebacking core, Noah Oberle, 5'6", 155 senior. Lincoln Gerard, 6'3", 203 and a junior. Ethan Metchling, 5'8", 176 and a sophomore. Eli Noakes, 5'6", 176 sophomore. And Charlie Laskowski, 6'2", 155 and a sophomore. Oberle, Gerard, Metchling, Noakes, and Laskowski, the 5 in the middle. And the 3 in the secondary, Trenton Mamaza, 6 foot, 156-pound senior. He leads the team in tackles, coming in with 15 on the year. Coulter Smith with 18 total tackles. He's got 12 by himself, 5'9", 170 and a sophomore. And Lucas Halderman, 5'10", 158 and a sophomore. Mamaza, Smith, Halderman, the 3 in the back, for a team that gives up 77 yards through the air, 292 on the ground per game, and averages allowing 42 points per contest. The Husky offense, 184 on the ground, 220 through the air, 41 points a contest, but just as important, 17 first downs, 14 of 23 on third down. Taking a look at the New Prairie offense, the 5 Hogs up front. Henry Laskowski, 5'11", 229 senior. Tyler Pranger, 6'3", 266 and a junior. Andrew Anderson, 5'8", 227 and a senior. Lee Alderton, 6'1", 284 junior. And Elijah Shuck, 6 foot, 298 junior. Laskowski, Pranger, Anderson, Alderton, and Shuck, the 5 up front. The backs and receivers for the Cougars, Trenton Mamaza, 6 foot, 156 senior. Sully Kress, the favorite target, 6 receptions on the year, but 166 yards and a score. Charlie Laskowski, 6'2", 155 sophomore. And Landon Buck, the tight end, 220 and a sophomore. He is 5'10". Noah Oberle is the favorite back, 5'6", 155-pound senior. 18 rushes for 96 yards on the year with a score. Long run of 22 on the year. And it's all led by senior quarterback Reed Robinson, 5'11", 195 senior. The Northern Illinois baseball recruit, 12 of 27 on the year, 238 and a touchdown. His long is 79, but he also does a lot of damage on the ground. 44 carries, 191 yards, and 2 scores. This is a team that averages 119 through the air, 203 on the ground, and 14 points a contest. They'll go up against a 3-4 defense for the Huskies, and it is a good one, only allowing 6 points in the first 2 games, and how about no points in the last 36 minutes of each ball game. Alfred Fultz, 6 foot, 230 and a senior. Aaron Wills, 330, 6 foot 1 sophomore. And MJ Marsh, 5'9", 215-pound senior. Those are the 3 up front. The linebacking core, and it's a good one. Kobe Addo, 6 foot, 225 outside linebacker. 11 tackles, 2 for loss. Mason Kazmierzak, 5'11", 200-pound senior. 14 tackles on the year. Jackson Troster, 5'11", 175 senior, and Charlie Gruey, 6'5", 200 as a senior. It's Addo, Kazmierzak, Troster, and Gruey. And the secondary, we talked a lot about free safety James Crinity, 6 foot, 200-pound junior, 12 tackles, 2 picks to lead the team. Jack Keegan, one corner, 6'2", 170 and a senior. Evan Balint, the other corner, 5'9", 150 and a senior. And Ryan Ruskowski, the strong safety, 5'7", 150 and a junior. 13 tackles on the year. He also has an interception in the secondary as well. Keegan, Crinity, Ruskowski, Balint, the 4 Huskies in the secondary. And, Coach, this is probably the best defense that Ben Downey has coached in his time here at St. Joe, and it's been very tough sledding for opposition offenses to get their footing, especially in the second half of games.
Yeah, you know, they have some they have some size up front with Aaron Wells at number 66 at the nose at 330 pounds, and then they're going to bring in a freshman, Brendan Lassane, at about 6'2", 6'3", 260 pounds. So when you can anchor that defensive line with Wills and Lassane, and then add Fultz at 230 and Marsh at about 215, that's tough sledding to run against. When I talk about St. Joe, it'll be really interesting for me to see the number of runs or passes tonight. In their first 2 games, they've passed the ball 48 times in 2 games. A lot of high school teams wouldn't pass that much in 4 games. But the the Huskies like to sling it up the field. They have great receivers. Both quarterbacks bring different attributes to the game. So I'll be really interested to see the rush versus the passing percentages in this game tonight.
And if the viewers stay tuned, at halftime they will be honoring the 1995 state championship football team. That is a team that did not like to throw at all. They ran the triple option / flex bone, and they ran it about as well as the Oklahoma teams back in the 60s and 70s, and no team in the state of Indiana was able to stop it. This is a team that in 95 scored 42 points a contest and only allowed one team to score more than 20, and that was Goshen in a 53-22 Week 2 abomination of the then Redskins, now Red Hawks. But it was a team of destiny in 95, and this is a team that's trying to carve out its own, whether it's on the defensive end or the offensive end.
Yeah, that 95 team was coached by Frank Amato. He had a 60-26 record. They had 7 shutouts that season. Are you kidding me?
And 5 of them in a row.
Yeah, they beat Jasper in the state championship game. And just a great time period for St. Joe football. Now any team that comes after that, specifically this team, is going to shoot to get that type of record. Joey Hecklinski quarterbacked the 2005 team, coached by Kevin Downey, to the state championship game and lost to Chittard. Ben Downey took a team down to the state championship team also, and again lost to Chittard. So Frank Amato still has the dubious distinction of winning the only state championship in St. Joe football history.
And we hope that it won't be the last, as New Prairie has won the toss, and unlike what we've seen in the first two games, they will get the football to start, and they're going to let Reed Robinson get his offense on the field immediately, as the St. Joe Huskies, wearing the home black uniforms with the blue numbers on the front and the back, and the numbers in blue in white on the helmet, outlined in blue. The New Prairie Cougars on the far sideline, bringing in a good crowd from New Carlisle. The last time these two teams met here at St. Joe, it was a New Prairie 29-26 win on September 15th, 2023. A season ago, St. Joe knocked off New Prairie out in New Carlisle, 7-0. Last time St. Joe won at home, you got to go all the way back to 2018. It was a second-round sectional win, 42-30, for the then St. Joe Indians. As setting the ball on the tee is going to be Ryder Place, the 5'11", 160-pound senior. And back to receive for New Prairie.
Place has got a great leg. He can kick it. He can kick it short. He can kick it down to the end zone. Let's see what he chooses to do.
Lucas Halderman back to receive, and that ball's going to go end over end. It's going to shoot through the end zone, and New Prairie will take over. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line.
Yeah, that is a great weapon when you have a kicker that can kick the ball in the end zone, and you just take that kickoff return coverage out the window and just start at the 20.
So Reed Robinson brings his team to the huddle. 5'11", 195-pound senior. He's 12 of 27 in the two losses to LaPorte and Northwood. Trying to right the ship. He has a lot of underclassmen surrounding him. They'll break the huddle. And Robinson in the shotgun formation. Robinson with 2 to the right, 1 to the left. Snap. Handoff will go to Oberle right up the middle. He'll get out to about the 35. Correction, that's Coulter Smith in the backfield.
That's a nice run by Smith. They opened up that A gap in the center, and the guard did a nice job of blocking, and Smith gains 5 yards right off the jump here.
Carnegie on the tackle. That'll be a 2nd and 5, very manageable for New Prairie. Again, Smith will get the ball, and he gets wrapped up immediately. He's going to lose a couple.
That's penetration right off the jump by number 66, Aaron Wells. He's a big boy at 330 pounds. 4-yard loss for the Cougars. Bring up about a 3rd and 9, I think.
So loss of 4 on that play. And 3rd and 9 for the Cougars.
Well, what a beautiful night for high school football.
Just a beautiful night for sports in general.
Yeah, about 68 degrees, cool.
As Robertson on the shotgun slant and catching it and getting popped for his trouble is Charlie Laskowski. He'll be a couple yards short of the first down.
It's a nice little quick slant. Luchkowski at 6'2" is a nice target. We'll see if New Prairie's going to punt, and I would assume they would, as the ball is on their own 29-yard line.
As Luis Cruz is going to trot out. James Carnegie backpedaling to about his 50. He'll be joined by Downey as a timeout's going to get called by St. Joe.
St. Joe had too many players on the field as Madison Downey did not get out till real late, and another player did not come out. So a good timeout by Coach Ben Downey. I'm not sure who the special teams coordinator is, but those are scenarios that you got to have ironed out before the game starts. That's the stuff that you got to know in your walkthroughs. Give me the punt team out there, and your return guys, count them out. They had 12 guys on the field, so a wise timeout because a 5-yard penalty would have given New Prairie a first down.
And we talked about it in the Lakeland game. Burning the timeouts early could cost you, and it cost Lakeland in that first half against St. Joe. And Coach Ben Downey hoping that this does not come back to haunt the Huskies.
Yeah, another thing you got to look at now is a count maybe on 2 or a count on 3 to try and draw you offside because it's fourth down and a yard. It looks to me like New Prairie's either going to go for the first down or have the quarterback quick kick it because they have their offensive team on.
As Robinson back in the shotgun formation, 4th and 1, he will hand it off and not getting anywhere, but the second push might have gotten
I think it's going to be
Smith
really
over,
close.
And it is going to be extremely close.
The linesman has it right on the 30, which is if it's right on the 30, it's probably a first down because they started from the touchback on the 20.
And that's exactly what's going to happen. Smith with enough for the first down. So it'll be a first down with under 10 minutes to go here in the first quarter. We're scoreless here at Father Bly Field at Layton Stadium.
That's a gutsy call early in this game by Coach Ryan O'Shea of New Prairie.
So fresh set of downs for the Cougars. And the handoff right back to Smith over the 35 to about the 36.
Again, there's that nice hole in the A-gap. And the guard in the center, I can't tell if it's a combo block, but they did a nice job on the interior of the St. Joe defense of not only getting the nose out, but also getting to the second level and hitting the linebacker.
So 6-yard pickup by Coulter Smith, the 5'9", 170-pound sophomore. He's already picked up 8 yards on 4 carries. Now Robinson going to call his own number, and he is going to get sandwiched just as he turns the corner. Jackson Troster in on the stop.
The outside linebacker, Charlie Grewe, did a really nice job of holding the point of attack and containing so the running or the quarterback couldn't get outside of him, forced him back inside. And a really nice defensive play then by the rest of the Husky defense.
So it's just a 1-yard pickup by Robinson, and that'll bring up 3rd and 3 from the Cougar 37. Robinson shotgun snap, pulls it down, gives it to Coulter Smith, tries to turn the corner. He's going to get close to the 40, but he's going to be about a yard short.
If Ryan O'Shea went for 4th down on the last possession, he'll definitely go for this as he's about a yard, maybe a yard and a football length short. St. Joe's going to have to be stout up the middle here. That time they did get outside the containment a little bit, and St. Joe pursued from the backside to make the tackle.
So Robinson with 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Full backfield with him. Robinson's going to hand it off to Smith, and he is going to get stopped short, and the Huskies take over on downs.
That's a really nice play by the linebacker for St. Joe, Kobe Adu. He held his ground. He stuffed the running back. St. Joe gets the ball at the 39-yard line of New Prairie, and we'll see what the Huskies do from a standpoint of running the football or striking through the air really quickly as Sam Shikatano is at the controls.
So 7.5 to play here in the opening quarter. They've actually got Gooby under center in the shotgun formation. That's a high snap. Ball's going to be handed off to Biffle, and he's going to go right up the middle.
Really good second effort by Franco as he was hit probably after a 2-yard gain and kept his legs churning and got about a 4-yard gain. Be 2nd and 6.
They're actually going to give him an extra yard. So I think they heard you, and they're figured we're going to give him an extra yard because Heklinski told us to.
My voice carries a lot of weight ever since I hit that Hall of Fame status. In basketball, by the way.
2nd and 5 as Gooby in the shotgun. He'll pull the ball out of Biffle's chest. He's looking deep. He's got a man open, but he overthrows Antoine Ross.
Ross was blanketed by the cornerback, and then the safety over the top. It would have had to been a perfect pass. Ross got out there quickly with his speed, but the pass is incomplete.
So that'll bring up 3rd and 5, and now chance for Coach Ben Downey to open up the playbook just a little bit.
Well, not really, because he's actually in 2-down territory here, because I'm fairly certain that he would go for it on 4th down.
He does have Ryder Place, the field goal kicker. He is 1 of 3 on the year if need be. As Gooby sends a man in motion, he'll hand it off. Downey around the corner. He is close to the 1st down.
That's a little jet sweep from right to left, and Dallas Downey got a head of steam up and put the ball right at the 30, which is just going to be about a yard short. So the Huskies will go for it here at 4th and 1. I mean, Biffle's a really, really big back. And if he can get going and head up into the line of scrimmage, I think just his size could pick up this 1st down.
Gooby with 2 men in motion. He's going to hand it right off to Franco Biffle, who gets stopped behind the line, and he is going to be dropped for a loss.
I thought initially he had the 1st down if he would have kept going north, but he veered out and tried to run sideways for a minute, and the quickness of the defense stopped him. New Prairie gets possession of the football on their 30.
Mason Cleast was the first man to catch Biffle.
It's that old adage, if you need a yard, just stick your head in there and go get the yard and don't try and get outside.
Just about halfway through the 1st quarter here in downtown South Bend, still scoreless, as Robinson's going to call his own number, and he is going to go nowhere.
Reed Robinson is stopped for a loss.
And he had a swarm of black jerseys before he could even get his feet underneath him. Brendan Lassane on the initial hit.
And Charlie Moran did a nice job of filling from the outside also. And that's a 4-yard loss for the Cougars. Brings up 2nd and 14.
The ball has not gotten past the 45-yard line of New Prairie. As snap right into the chest of Coulter Smith, and he'll pick up a couple.
Smith, the ball carrier.
Little off tackle play left.
Jackson Troyster and Charles Gruy.
Gruy and Troster, the 2 right side linebackers on the stop.
Troster at 5'11", 175-pound senior, mans that right side linebacker position. Charlie Gruy will play the outside linebacker position or a stand-up defensive end.
2-yard pickup for Smith. As the shotgun snap nearly goes over the head of Robinson. He's got a lot of real estate. He's to the 40, to the 45, to the 50. Trucks his one man, and he is to the 45.
So when you're rushing a mobile quarterback like a Reed Robinson, you have to have your gap integrity, and it becomes very difficult to get up the field and not close those scrambling lanes off. And Reed Robinson did a really, really nice job. He's got 44 rushes this year for 191 yards, so he can definitely run the football.
26 yards on the pickup for the senior. And for the first time, the ball is in St. Joe territory. Robinson, quick drop. And his pass intended for Mamaza is incomplete.
He had Mamaza open, but just overthrew it. And that time, the St. Joe rush cut down the lanes, and Robinson didn't have anywhere to run to. He had to get the ball off via the pass.
So that'll bring up 2nd and 10. The ball resting on the St. Joe 46. Still scoreless here. Just about 4 minutes to go. Glad you could join us on your Friday night.
If you're New Prairie, you got to be happy with the time of possession. St. Joe's only had one offensive possession so far.
As Smith was wrapped up in the backfield, but he broke free, and he is over the 40 to about the 38. It'll be a pickup of 8.
Charlie Moran shot the gap and had Smith in the backfield, just couldn't bring him down. And Smith gathered himself and got about 7 yards to make it a 3rd and 3.
There's Carnetti on the tackle. Now 3rd and 2 for the Cougars, who are driving with 3.5 to go in the first. Robinson sends Smith to the right. He's going to fire it to him, and pass is complete, and he'll have enough for the first down.
Pass complete to Smith.
Nice little screen pass coming out to the right. Smith had a couple of blockers. He needed 2 to 3 yards, made the catch, and stuck his head in there and got the first down. At the St. Joe 33-yard line. And my point was if you're playing against a team that has a great offense, like the Huskies do, you got to keep them off the field. And ball control, getting 3 or 4 first downs, that's a step in the right direction for New Prairie.
Ryan Ruskowski in on the tackle. It's now Robinson. He'll hand it off to guess who? Coulter Smith right up the middle.
The ball carrier.
Smith got to the hole, made a great little jump cut to his left, found the opening, and ran it up in there for about a 5-yard gain.
James Carnetti with the tackle.
Carnetti with yet another tackle for the Huskies as the ball rests on the 29-yard line. 2:10 remaining here in the opening quarter. Still looking for our first points of the ball game. Robinson with trips to the right now sends Mamaza in motion. Kind of a stutter step. Goes all the way across. 6 on the play clock. Robinson going to hand it off to Smith right up the middle. And he'll get a couple.
Number 77 for New Prairie, Lee Atherton, did a great job of blocking the nose tackle for St. Joe, Aaron Wills, to open up that hole, and it brings up about a 3rd down and maybe 5.
As Kazmierzak in on the stop. And this is the third down of the drive, already the 9th play for a drive that began on the New Prairie 30. Robinson going to call his own number, go right up the middle. He's got a lot of real estate, makes 2 men miss. He's to the 10, to the 5, dives towards the pylon, and he'll be knocked out of bounds at about the 2. A 26-yard pickup.
Robinson did a great job of stepping back, finding the lane, picked up great downfield blocks from his wide receivers, and St. Joe was really outmanned to the right side. Got down to just really close to the goal line, about the 2-yard line.
Already 4 carries, 49 yards for Robinson.
New Prairie's looked really good. St. Joe's defense has been on the field for quite a while. They have to figure out a way now to stop this drive.
Robinson, empty backfield, sends a man in motion. He'll fake the handoff, and he'll go right up the middle, and he's in for the touchdown.
Really nice job by Robinson to fake the handoff and to take his time and read where the hole would be. and went into the end zone untouched. Just an unprecedented drive for New Prairie, a team that has averaged or scored only one touchdown during the season. And just a great drive. Took up most of the first quarter with 54 seconds left.
So Logan Chalik will come on for the extra point. Mamaza to hold. Chalik's kick is blasted through the uprights. And it is 7-0 in favor of New Prairie. We'll step aside after this timeout from Liuna, and we'll give you the scoring recap as you're watching Husky football on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
Go.
Out physical.
Back here live at Father Bly Field. St. Joe trailing New Prairie 7-0. 10 plays, 70 yards. 5 minutes, 8 seconds. A 2-yard touchdown run by Reed Robinson. New Prairie has run 17 plays to St. Joe's 4.
Yeah, that's a huge problem in this game so far, the time of possession. And when you can keep St. Joe's explosive offense on the sideline, that's a win-win for New Prairie. I thought New Prairie was just very, very physical in the trenches and at the point of attack.
Chalik with the bomb. He'll send it deep. Crenini will pick it up at about the 11. He's got a lot of real estate in front of him. He's got one man to beat to the 45. He will go the distance.
Yeah, what a great job by James Crenini just to slow it up for a minute, let the blocking materialize, and then when he saw the crease to explode through. Now, I'll say this again. Time of possession, doesn't matter. That was 12 seconds for the Huskies to tie this game up on the extra point.
A kick 6 by Crenini. He had lots of blocking in front of him, and as soon as he got to about the 35, there was no one that was going to catch him.
Yeah, and I think those kickoff returns are all about patience and letting the blocking develop, and then when you see that crease, boom, you're through.
So Ryder Place set to tie this one up. And the kick is up, and it is through the uprights and good. So an 89-yard touchdown return from James Crenini. And the extra point by Place has tied it up at 7. And what a momentum swing after New Prairie basically grabbed the momentum with that long drive.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it. And now the defense for the Huskies, which obviously was a little gassed being on the field for over 6 or 7 minutes on that drive by New Prairie, will now go back out on the field. And hopefully the coaches in the press in the press box or the defensive coaches on the field will see the adjustments that they need to break or need to make and make those adjustments and stop those quarterback scrambles and stop those little creases on the front four.
So who needs time of possession when you can just take it all the way back on a kickoff?
Yeah.
As Crenini was able to do that.
Yeah, that's we got time of possession there, 12 seconds.
12 seconds.
Are you kidding me? That's great.
It's now 1:48 that the Huskies have had the football. They've yet to cross the opponent's 20-yard line, or New Prairie's 20-yard line, and it's a tie ball game.
Well, it's literally their fifth play.
Yes.
It's their fifth play from scrimmage. Well, not even from scrimmage. From 4 plays from scrimmage and 1 play from 89 yards away.
So Holderman's going to be deep for New Prairie as Place has it teed up on the 40 with the red band over his right calf, and he'll let it fly. And Holderman's going to do the same thing he did on the opening kickoff. He'll let it go right through the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. And New Prairie will take over. They'll have the ball 1st and 10 at their own 20.
Let's see if St. Joe makes any adjustments on defense. Right now, I see Austin Radigan now is in at the right outside linebacker position in place of Charlie Gruey, and I think that might be the only change that I've seen. I'd be remiss if I didn't say that that Waite is not playing tonight. He's a really good defensive player for the Indians. David Waite. He's got a quad contusion and is out of this game tonight.
As the handoff is going to be taken by Coulter Smith. As Kazmierzak.
Yeah, the left inside linebacker shot the gap and did a nice job of not waiting to get blocked, but shooting the gap and then finding the ball carrier.
It's already the 10th carry for Smith as we wind down this eventful first quarter, if you will. And Coach Ryan O'Shea in no hurry to get the snap off, and we will head to the break. It was a Reed Robinson 2-yard touchdown run answered by a monster 89-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by James Crenity, and that's where we stand. It's the Huskies and the Cougars knotted at 7 right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network, as we like to thank our friends from LiUNA.
Yes. Proud members of the Indiana Laborers District Council and affiliate local unions who build Indiana. We are LiUNA.
Beef O'Brady's in Granger now features Philly Thursdays. Enjoy a Philly cheesesteak sandwich with fries for just $10.99. Located at State Road 23 in Bittersweet, Beef's open for lunch at 11 a.m. 7 days a week. For more information, the website, www.beefobradies.com, or call 574-271-1415. Beef O'Brady's, good food, good sports.
Regional Radio Sports Network thanks Cubit Networks for their support of high school and college athletics. Since 1986, Cubit Networks is focused on providing a quality experience to their customers. They take computer security seriously and have the necessary tools to keep your digital assets and environment safe. They are located at 103 Polk Street in LaPorte. Phone number is 219-369-4357. Cubit Networks, moving and storing data fast and safe.
And the start of the second quarter between the Cougars and the Huskies, as the handoff is going to go to Smith. And Smith might have gotten a couple. Oberle now in for Smith. And Smith got a well-deserved breather.
That play took a long time to develop, and the right outside linebacker, Charlie Gruey, did a great job of filling that and holding the Cougars to a 1-yard gain. This is a huge play now, 3rd and 9. St. Joe's got to get off the field. Their offense has to be on the field and have the ability to have some big play scoring, and the defense needs to get off the field right now.
New Prairie is a team 16 carries, 75 yards. As New Prairie is going to call a timeout. We'll keep it right here. McDonald Physical Therapy and Sports Rehabilitation Center with 2 locations at 1005 Hickory Road in South Bend and on the campus of the University of Notre Dame. They've been treating the coaches and athletes from area high schools as well as the University of Notre Dame, Bethel University, University of Indiana, and Holy Cross College for over 35 years. They have worked with professional athletes with BFR muscle training, anti-gravity treadmill, ASTYM, HydroWorks, and have a 14,000 square foot work facility. There's no need for a referral from a doctor. Feel free to call McDonald Physical Therapy and Sports Rehab Center's phone number at 574-233-5754. A person will answer all calls within 2 rings. Look them up on the web at McDonaldPT.com.
And it may be Fran McDonald himself.
It may be. Who knows?
A former walk-on player that was on the same team with Rudy many, many years ago. Fran is the best. Look for St. Joe to bring some pressure now. When you play a 3-4 defense, you can bring pressure from a lot of different areas, and that's what I look for now. St. Joe to bring pressure.
3rd and 9 from the 21-yard line, and Cornetti in on the blitz, and the pass is underthrown, and New Prairie will have 4th down and 9 to go, and Ryan O'Shea not taking chances this time. He'll send on the punting unit as Luis Cruz, who averages about 28 yards a punt, as long as 44. He will stand at about his 11-yard line, and Mr. Excitement, James Cornetti, standing back at about his own 44-yard line. And we know what happened the last time he touched the football. As punt taken by Cornetti at about the 48-yard line. He's going to cut back. He's to about the 40. He'll be brought down at about the 38-yard line. And the Huskies have outstanding field possession.
That's a low line drive punt, and typically those get returned really well because it doesn't give the punt team time to get down and cover it. Cornetti did a nice job, picked up about 12 yards on that punt return.
So St. Joe will take over at the 38-yard line, and in at quarterback is
going
to be Sam Shikatano. And Shikatano will hand off to Biffle. He turns the corner, flag on the play as Biffle's down to the 15, but hold on a second.
Biffle got outside, and I think the cornerback for New Prairie reached out and got a face mask.
Biffle also had his hand and got some face mask as well, so it'll be interesting to see who this call is against.
And it
will be a 5-yarder against New Prairie.
And that's why I say, back in the day when they didn't have face masks, you couldn't get a face mask penalty. You just didn't have a nose or an eye socket. The things an ex-basketball coach thinks about. That's a great job by St. Joe. Biffle did get to the outside on that carry and sets St. Joe up in great position at the 13-yard line.
So, by the way, that's the first down for the Huskies. 20-yard run, 5-yard penalty, and the ball is at the 13 as Biffle inside the 5, still churning his legs, and a massive humanity will stop him at the 5.
Yeah, that's a great power run, and as we're talking about St. Joe, I think that's their 6th offensive play, to be honest with you. And they're just getting warmed up along the offensive line. Biffle did a nice job of keeping the ball inside, not getting to the outside, and just getting his shoulder squared, getting in and picking up as many yards as he can.
So Biffle already 4th carry of the night, 32 yards for the senior. He's over 160 for the year. Shikatana with a man in motion. He'll hand it off to Biffle. He's down to the 3. And it'll be 2nd down, or rather 3rd down for the Huskies.
Maybe 3rd down and 1. And I don't see why we would change the narrative here. Let's just give Franco Biffle the ball here and let him hit that hole hard and fast and get into the end zone. St. Joe brings in another blocker and an extra tight end, Charlie Gruey, for some more blocking.
This will be a jumbo set that they're going to put together.
I keep looking for Fridge in the backfield.
And the handoff is going to go to Ross. He's going to turn to the outside, reaches for the pylon, and he will be stopped at the 1. It will be first and goal.
Yeah, that's a little I formation where Ross followed Biffle into the hole. I thought New Prairie did a really nice job of stuffing that play, forcing Ross to get to the outside, and he just ran out of real estate before he could get the ball over the pylon.
So it'll be first and goal for the Huskies at the 1 as we're inching towards the 9-minute mark. As the handoff's going to go right up the middle. No signal yet from any of the officials, and now it's a touchdown. Biffle goes 1 yard, and it's a touchdown for the Huskies, and they're an extra point away from being up 14-7.
That's a really good drive. They didn't put the ball in the air one time. They ran the football. They tried to impose their strength in the trenches and did a really nice job. Biffle, carried probably 6 out of 7 times on that possession and got into the end zone. St. Joe looking for that extra point and a 7-point lead.
So Ryder Place set for the extra point. Snap is down, hold is good, as so is the kick. And it's heading towards downtown South Bend as the Huskies have quickly overturned that 7-point deficit and now lead it 14-7. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll get you the scoring recap as we thank our fans from LaUna right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network as you're
on that line of scrimmage.
back here at Father Bly Field at Layton Stadium. The Huskies now up 14-7.
Lucas Halderman deep for the Cougars.
Lucas Halderman deep for the Huskies, and the 2 previous times that Place has kicked off, Halderman hasn't had a chance to bring the ball out.
Yeah, Place does a great job of putting the ball in the end zone. The first game against Lakeland, he kicked it short, which forced a fair catch. This time he kicks it up again and will force another fair catch.
As one of the up men,
Fair catch ball. That's the 31.
as Sully Kress is the man to call the fair catch. New Prairie will take over. It'll be first and 10 at the 32-yard line.
Yeah, nice job by Place to switch it up, get a lot of air under the kick, give your coverage team the amount of time to go down and force New Prairie to call for the fair catch. But in his first 2 kicks, he booted it in the end zone. So New Prairie actually gained 11 yards on this kickoff as they start from the 31.
As Reed Robinson back in the shotgun formation. He'll take a couple-step drop, quickly fires it, and it's short, intended for Kress. Kress has been his favorite target all year. 6 receptions, 166 yards. They connected for a 79-yard score earlier in the season.
Different mindset to start this drive as New Prairie has started all of their drives with the run. Maybe looking St. Joe to stack the box and defend against the run. Thought they'd come out and throw a quick pass, and it fell incomplete.
Robinson 2 of 5 for 13 yards here in the first half. And now he'll roll to the left, and he will be smothered immediately.
Charlie Gruey from his right outside linebacker position stepped across and had enough quickness to run Robinson down. And just a nice play by the 6'5 senior Gruey.
So that'll bring the ball back to about the 27-yard line after a 5-yard loss.
Brings up a 3rd and 15.
3rd and 15 from the 27. The yard line to get the 42. Robinson, 2 to the near side, 1 to the far side. He'll step back. He's going to get flushed out of the pocket. He'll call his own number. And he's going to heave it. And the pass is incomplete on the far side. And that'll force another New Prairie punt.
St. Joe did a nice job of putting initial pressure on Robinson. Robinson tried to scramble out to his right and throw it on the run. Actually threw a pretty good ball, but the ball was not caught. And it is a 4th down again. And obviously James Cornetti gets an opportunity to get his hands on the ball again.
James Cornetti, who had an 18-yard punt return the last time he touched the ball. A big reason why the Huskies were able to start at the 38.
And let's not forget about that 89-yard kickoff return. Got some nice yardage totals so far in this first half.
As Luis Cruz's punt, that will take a bounce right up in the air. Actually goes in the direction of the Huskies, and it'll be downed at the 43-yard line. Well, they're going to call it the 42. I think the ref will call it the 43. I might call it the 42 and a half.
Shikatano comes back as the signal caller to start this series. And it looks like a different St. Joe team from the amount of offensive plays. That they've only had one pass attempt. They do a great job of throwing the ball up the field. And the game plan so far to date has been to run the ball.
And Shikatano will hand it off to Biffle. He's to the 45, out close to the 50, and an extra little nudge forward. And he'll get it. He'll get it into New Prairie territory. He'll get it to about the 49. That's
a great physical run by Biffle. Just a hit up in there and keep his legs churning and gain some yardage.
That last St. Joe drive, 5 plays, 38 yards, 1 yard run by Biffle. Helped out by that punt return by Cornetti.
I like Antoine Ross on the right side here.
And then handoff to Biffle. He's to the 45. He's going to get wrapped up, but still moving his legs. And he's going to get brought down at the 40.
Biffle plows his way ahead.
9-yard pickup for the senior. And it's a first down for the Huskies.
Power football for St. Joe. And the point I made, Antoine Ross is out here by himself on the right end, and single coverage, no safety, just single coverage. And as we know, Ross can really run. So maybe look for something to happen here deep down the field.
Shikatano talking with Biffle in the backfield. He's going to pull it right out of his chest, and the pass is thrown behind Antoine Ross and falls incomplete.
After 10 straight running opportunities, a great time for play action, and Shikatano had Ross on a slant pattern, just couldn't connect. That's only the second pass attempt for the Huskies tonight.
And actually the closest player to that was Charlie Liskowski, the outside linebacker for the Cougars. So 2nd and 10 for the Huskies. There's a man in motion. It's going to go to Ross around the right side. He'll be knocked out of bounds. They're going to call it the 36. They're going to give him 4 on that play.
New Prairie did a nice job of containing the end, and Ross never really had an opportunity to get out and get his shoulder square and turn the play up the field.
So it'll be 3rd and 6 from the 36-yard line.
There's a little bunch formation on the left side of the formation with Madison Downey.
And they're going to fake the handoff and finding Ross open, and he will waltz into the end zone. Shikatano to Ross, 36 for pay dirt.
Bunch formation on the left. Ross was split out to the right, had single coverage, no safety over the top, a nice little pitch and catch, And there's the St. Joe Husky offensive team that we're accustomed to seeing.
So 36-yard pitch and catch. Shikatano, his second touchdown of the year. To Antoine Ross, his second touchdown of the year. And the Huskies have reeled off 21 straight. As Ryder Place on for the extra point. His kick is up and heading towards downtown South Bend. So the Huskies, they go 57 yards for the touchdown. And Coach, after that touchdown by Reed Robinson, it has been all Huskies since that point.
Well, I really like what Ben Downey did from an offensive standpoint. St. Joe fell in a hole early, and instead of panicking and taking the ball and starting to sling it all over the field, Coach Downey got his guys in a situation where they had to win the line of scrimmage. And they played football in the trenches. They ran the ball. Biffle's done a nice job of hitting up in there and keeping his legs moving. And then once they got the single coverage on Ross that they wanted, they quickly exploited it. They had the single coverage 2 plays before, but didn't connect on the pass. On this attempt by Shigitano, the pass was right on the mark, and Ross used his speed to score that touchdown. Nice offensive philosophy and play calling by the great Ben Downey.
So 21-7 the score. We remind you to stick around at halftime. We'll have stats and analysis, but they will be honoring the 95 state championship football team. They'll also be honoring the 2025 girls lacrosse and boys basketball teams. And we'll have a chance to interview Marcus Clayton, the captain of the 1995 Huskies, then Indians state championship team, as a flag is going to be thrown at about the 40. The ball did not go out of bounds.
First and 10, New Prairie at their own 42.
I don't see any laundry on the field.
It's right by Ben Downey.
I mean, maybe Ben dropped his hanky, but that high kickoff, if the defense gets down and covers that before the offense does, it's St. Joe's ball again. So it's a really, really good tactic on your kickoff team if you have a kicker that can execute that.
So the kick is going to be out of bounds. New Prairie will take over at the 46. 6:17 remaining in the first half. As Robinson, he'll roll out to the left, got a lot of real estate, and being wrapped up high as Gruey threw Robinson to the turf with authority, and Reed is slow to get up.
Yeah, if I'm New Prairie, I might try running left a little bit, because Charlie Gruey at the point of attack from that right outside linebacker position has just been a monster out there for St. Joe, and they haven't been able to get outside of him. He's 6'5", maybe 210, 215, just long and very, very athletic. I know he's a member of that state championship St. Joe basketball team also.
So Robinson, after that touchdown, 2 carries, -7 yards since. And Robinson will hand it off. And Coulter Smith is going to get down to about the 45. And we've got some extracurricular activities downfield.
There's a flag on the play.
Yeah, number 77, the offensive lineman for New Prairie, Lee Atherton, was 20 yards downfield blocking on a safety, which was kind of interesting to me. The call is going to be unnecessary roughness on the Huskies. And New Prairie did a nice job on that last play of not trying to get it to the outside, running off tackle and creating that hole. And the running back got in there and did a nice job for New Prairie. New Prairie at the 31 now of St. Joe, threatening to score with 5:18 left in this first half.
So it was an 8-yard pickup and tack on 15 for the personal foul.
I did not see who the personal foul was on.
As the ball is going to go right back to Smith, and Smith is wrapped up. And Mr. Gruey again with another tackle.
Yeah, I've said this before. I don't know why they keep running left. I mean, they need to try the right side. But when you look at the St. Joe right side defensively, you're talking about Kobe Adu, who's just an outstanding outside linebacker.
This is a very hungry defense. They've only given up 13 points this year. And no points in the second, third, or fourth quarters against both Lakeland and Fort Wayne South. As New Prairie is going to take some time to talk this one over. We're going to take some time to talk it over as well. 21-7 in favor of the Huskies, as we'll step aside and get another word from our friends at La Una. Back here at Father Bly Field at Layton Stadium. JP Jabir, Rhonda Klinsky, Megan Keeble on the camera tonight, as Tanya Condry was called to LaPorte for the LaPorte-Valparaiso game. What a good one we have here between two extremely talented and well-coached 4A teams in St. Joe and New Prairie. The Huskies leading it 21-7. They've rolled off 21 points. As the Cougars are driving 2nd and 11 from the 32, but they've got to get a little more than one-dimensional. They can't just keep relying on Robinson and Coulter Smith, as they've been trying to do a good job of it. As Robinson, he'll hand it off to the aforementioned Smith, and he'll get pushed back a ways, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
There's a little extracurricular right there with Kazmierzak getting pushed as he attempted to get up for making the tackle. Big boy, Aaron Wills, 6'1", 330-pound sophomore, is now into the game. Gonna take that nose position and try and stop that the run at that A gap.
So 3rd and 11 for the Cougars, as Robinson going to drop back. He's going to put this one up. A lot of contact, and the ball goes in and out of the hands of the receiver going downfield. That was Sully Kress, who's asking for a penalty.
Jack Keegan did a really nice job of, at the last second, turning his head to see the ball. And if you turn your head, there's a little contact. The officials are not going to call it as much. If you never turn your head, you're going to get that called probably 90% of the time.
And the Cougars, who are already 2 of 2 on 4th downs in this contest, they're going to try it again. Rather, 1 of 2. Now Robinson back to pass. He's going to get flushed out of the pocket, and he's running for his life as he's going to head to the right side of the field. And he's going to heave it down. He's got a man open in and out of the hands of Smith. And Laundry flying after the fact.
That's a nice job by Reed Robinson of trying to buy some time. The play started to his left. He broke contain and went to his right. The right defensive end, Charlie Gruey, ran all the way across the field, put some heat on Robinson. Robinson put it up in the air, and what is usually the case is a little PI downfield. I haven't seen the officials say what the penalty is yet, But if I had to guess, it'd be some pass interference down the field.
As the officials are huddling, New Prairie still with its offense on the field.
That's never a good sign when the officials huddle. Because inevitably one official is trying to talk the other officials into what the call was. And if it was a 5-yard PI, it still wasn't enough to give New Prairie the first down. And I think that's what happened. St. Joe's offense is coming onto the field now.
And Ryan O'Shea is incensed on that far side. Still no explanation as to what the call has been.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the mics on the field from the officials. And obviously we don't have them, right?
And if I wish we did. As the St. Joe Huskies coaching staff was complaining about a holding penalty, as there were multiple holds when Robinson began to turn towards the right. So they're backing up St. Joe, and they're backing them up a ways.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't understand this now, because if they're backing them up that far.
After the play, however, St. Joe will take over on offense.
So the personal foul happened after the play was over. So they will back up the Huskies 15 yards from where the spot of the foul was. And they'll take over at their own 5-yard line. And they'll have 3 minutes and 14 seconds, or for those math enthusiasts, the pie time, to go 95 yards.
Yeah, and Ryan O'Shea still trying to get an explanation from 3 of the officials. And I mean, I would like an explanation too, because if it was after the play, to me, the yardage still counts, and New Prairie gets the ball. And New Prairie's offense, I believe, is getting ready to come back on the field, maybe.
Well, there is some mass confusion as now the defense that was sitting all the way over to the right now all have to get their helmets back on.
So if there is a penalty, and I don't care if it's after the play, if the penalty yardage is enough to get to the sticks and get a first down, then it's obviously going to remain New Prairie's ball. Now, I'm not really sure who this officiating crew is, but I don't think that shouldn't happen.
So we've got 3 separate huddles, 2 groups of officials, one group at the 32, one group was at the 25. Ben Downey still trying to get an explanation.
Well, and I think the explanation is simple. A penalty, whether it was during the play, after the play, the penalty yardage was enough to give New Prairie a first down. New Prairie will have the football somewhere around St. Joe's 5-yard line.
And let's tell you how big it's a 21-7 St. Joe lead. And New Prairie was driving before the mass confusion, as, of course, the Jeopardy theme song now begins to play in the background.
I love that. Now New Prairie is coming back. It will still be New Prairie's ball, but the ball will be placed, I believe, on the 16-yard line, 17-yard line of St. Joe. That was a great 4th down conversion.
First down, New Prairie, around the St. Joe 17.
Okay.
Who's on first?
I don't know, but he's our shortstop.
What's on second?
I don't know who's on third. Not a shortstop.
There you go. There you go, man.
All right, after all that mass confusion, New Prairie takes over 1st and 10 at the 17. Robinson, he'll hand off to Oberle. And Oberle gets to about the 15.
Yeah, and Kobe Ado just did a nice job of playing that left linebacker position, shooting the gap and making the tackle. 2nd and 8 from the 15.
Sometimes this sport it makes you scratch your head sometimes.
Well, I mean, sometimes the lack of A, explanation from the officials, and the lack of B, the officials knowing what's going on, that's a tough combination to have to try and compete with.
That is very true as Robinson takes the snap out of the shotgun.
Overly the ball carrier.
And Oberle will go right up the middle.
Brought down by Kobe Otto.
So Otto on the tackle. That'll bring the ball to the 5-yard line after a 5-yard pickup. That'll be 3rd and 3 at the 10-yard line.
Otto with 11 tackles for the season and 2 tackles for loss. So you pick your poison. You're going to go to Otto's side or you're going to go to Gruey's side. Now 3rd and 4. Let's see what New Prairie opts to do.
As Robinson's going to hand it off. And instead, Robinson calls his own number. And he's going to dive towards the first down. Looks like he'll be just short. That ball will be placed at the 9.
Charlie got caught inside a little bit, and Robinson was able to get outside of him. It's 4th and 2. Big defensive play for the Huskies.
So 4th and 2 from the 9. As Robinson will keep the offense on the field. They're 1 of 2 on 4th down. They've converted one on a penalty. And St. Joe will get some time to talk it over. This gives us a chance to thank some of our friends.
Yes, it does. And our friends just do a great job. What about Cubit Networks? Tonight's broadcast is being underwritten by our friends at Cubit Networks, located at 103 Polk Street in LaPorte. Cubit Networks takes pride in helping keep their customers happy for all their technology needs. More information can be found on their website at cubitnet.com or by phone at 219-369-4357. Cubit Networks, moving and storing data fast and safe.
Beef O'Brady's in Granger features Boneless Wing Wednesdays. When you purchase either 6 or 10 boneless wings, you get another 6 or 10 for free. Located at State Road 23 in Bittersweet. Beef's is open for lunch at 11 a.m. 7 days a week. For more information, websites www.beefobradys.com or call 574-271-1415. Beef O'Brady's, good food, good sports. As Robinson slowly brings his team back to the line of scrimmage. It's 4th and 2 from the 9. St. Joe trying to bring pressure. Robinson, he'll slow the snap count. 12 on the play clock. As the handoff's going to be to Oberle, and Oberle is going to be stopped short, although New Prairie thinks they've got it, but it's going to be St. Joe ball as Oberle is stopped short.
Oberle, the ball carrier, brought down by Jackson Truster.
Yeah, Truster did a nice job of holding his position as they tried to run off the right guard. And Truster, the 5'11", 175-pound senior, who has 4 tackles coming into this game, did a nice job. Ball gets turned over on downs to St. Joe. 58 seconds left in this first half. Let's see what Ben Downing decides to do, whether it's run the clock out or try and push the ball up the field and look for another score.
It was a 1-yard pickup from Oberle.
St. Joe defense has just really done a nice job today.
They have bent but not broke.
Yeah, that's a great defensive stand there.
21-7 Huskies. And they will take a knee on first down, and they will be content with running out the clock. They will get the ball to start the second half.
Yeah, it's interesting to me and I don't know this, I should know this, but apparently New Prairie's out of timeouts, because obviously with the ball at the 6-yard line, you would think New Prairie would call a timeout.
As they'll go back-to-back knees, and Ben Downey and his coaching staff will be more than happy to take this one to halftime. with a 21-7 lead. Huskies lead it by 2 touchdowns. As we'll step aside, when we come back, we'll have an on-field presentation and celebration of the 95 state championship football team and the 2025 girls lacrosse and boys basketball teams as you're watching Huskies football right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
Warrior Project event. I didn't know what to expect, but it felt like everyone understood me. We got each other. So I got more involved. I joined support groups with other women warriors, and it helped me realize a new purpose in my life.
Through our hands-on programs, supportive community, and ongoing advocacy, we help post-9/11 veterans realize what's possible. Learn more at woundedwarriorproject.org/possible.
At the YMCA, finding your why starts by making an impact together, touching lives for the better. It can be the gift of time or treasure, supporting a community through talent without measure. Here, compassion fuels commitment, finding fulfillment through enrichment, serving and improving. What a way to live, and what a gift it is to give. Find your why and get involved today at ymca.org for a better us.
As we are proud to recognize the 2025 Girls Lacrosse State Championship team. The St. Joe Huskies finished the year with a record of 12-5. The road to St. Joe's first ever Indiana Girls Lacrosse Association State Championship included sectional wins over Chesterton and Northridge, a semi-state win over Castle High School, and a 10-9 win over the Brownsburg Bulldogs to capture the 2025 State Championship. Team members in attendance this evening are Lauren Hickey, Leighton Stanley, Izzy Buda, Ashley Marinus, Giselle Springstead, Murphy Farrell, Molly Arnold, Elizabeth Helm, Mary Mayer, Sophia Kintz, Maya Matthews, Julia Napier, Kaja Young, Ariana Catanzarite, Solana Martinez, Sydney Schmeltz, Peyton Forsyth, Caitlin Shrewsbury, Ella Balint, and Emily Patterson. The Huskies are coached by head coach Josie Walters, assisted by Elena Emmerich. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2025 State Championship Huskies. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we ask that you once again please direct your attention to the track and join us as we continue celebrating our halftime of championships. First, this evening we honored our lacrosse team. Now we are honoring a very special team in St. Joe football history, as we are celebrating the 30th anniversary of the 1995 State Football Championship. The 1995 team capped off a perfect 14-0 season with a 28-zip defeat of Jasper in the championship game in Indianapolis. The team never trailed an opponent all season, averaged 42 points per game, scored a school record of 588 points, and recorded 7 shutouts. The Indians were led by head coach Frank Amato, who compiled a career record of 60-26 as the St. Joe coach, a winning percentage of nearly 700. Please give a warm St. Joe welcome to the members of the 1995 team and coaching staff and support staff as they are introduced individually on the track. Team statistician Al Monhoot. Cheerleader Emily Kruper-Bolin. Aaron Bolin. Matt Bodner. Patrick Cleaver. Rashawn Seward. Jeff Harris. Blair Kyle. Art McCormick. Jason Pacuza. Sean Waite. Pace McCormick. Matt Ruskowski. Jake Klasinski. Team captain Marcus Clayton. Team members involved as coaches involved in tonight's game. On the New Prairie staff, Dan Luther. On the St. Joe staff, Trevor Dokes. And head coach Ben Downey. Assistant coaches include Ross Havens, Mike Sullivan, John Schweikert, Andy Storetti, and your head coach, Frank Amato. We also recognize those who contributed to this momentous season who could not join us this evening. Thank you for bringing home the 3A state championship to St. Joe and for returning home on the 30th anniversary of that memorable season. St. Joe fans, your 1995 state football champions! Go Indians!
So again, the St. Joe Indians Class 3A state champions from 1995 being honored tonight at the halftime of the New Prairie game. And Coach, I was lucky to share the school hallways with each and every one of these gentlemen that are on the field, and a lot of them look like they could still get out there and still play and still make a couple of big plays, whether it's Blair Kyle at quarterback, Sean Wade at running back, or the man we're going to have up here in just a little bit, Marcus Clayton, on the defensive side of the football.
Yeah, that is so cool for those athletes to get back together 30 years later. And maybe they've seen each other throughout the years, or maybe they haven't. But those memories that you make on the practice field, and as we well know, that football team practiced at the old St. Joe High School. That practice football field there had rocks in it, had glass in it. It was awful. And for those guys to practice every day and go through their workouts under the great Frank Amato, that is so, so special.
I will tell you this. I was a little on the smaller side as a freshman and a sophomore, but to see some of those guys, they were larger than life human beings. You thought they could do no wrong. They would run through a wall for not only for Frank Amato, but for each other. And I think that's a big reason why this team was so successful. It was 11-1 the year before in 94. They lost a 14-7 heartbreaker at the Boneyard, which you know is a very difficult place to play at Griffith. But then in 95, it just all came together. 14-0, 5 straight shutouts, 7 overall, including a 28-zip win over the Jasper Wildcats in the state finals. They averaged 42 points a game, allowed only 5 points a contest. Goshen was the only team that scored over 20, and Adams in week 1, a 42-14 win, and then they had to go all the way to Harding in the regionals where they won 27-14. Those are the only other two teams that put double digits on the Indians, and it was just an amazing team to watch week in and week out.
Yeah, I mean, back in those days and even in recent days, St. Joe has had just a great athletic tradition with winning the 2025 state girls lacrosse and 2025 state boys basketball championships. But back in the day, and for me, I'm a 1974 grad of St. Joe. 1995 is 21 years later. But I remember Frank Amato. I remember those names, and it's stuff that legends are made of, man.
We're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll have the stats from the first half, give you some analysis of the first half, and we hope to be joined by a member of that 95 team. Marcus Clayton's going to join us here in the broadcast booth as you're watching Huskies football here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines. Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, wherever the mission takes us, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Did you know there's a place right here in Michiana that provides comfort and care for families of sick or injured children? Ronald McDonald House Charities of Michiana gives families everything they need, whether it's a hot shower, a comfortable bed, or a home-cooked meal. This allows parents to truly prioritize the health and well-being of their child. Because of people in this community just like you, RMHC Michiana provides their services at zero cost to the families. Find out how you can volunteer or donate to rmhcmichiana.org.
Back here at Father Bly Field at Layton Stadium, J.P. Joubert, Ronna Klinsky, and Megan Cable with you on your Friday night. The Huskies lead New Prairie 21-7. New Prairie got the scoring going after a 10-play, 70-yard drive, took 5:08 off the clock. A 2-yard run by Reed Robinson made it 7-zip, but after that, it has been all Huskies as James Crenity took the ensuing kickoff, 89 yards to the house on the kick 6. That tied it at 7. The Huskies would then score a rushing touchdown this time as Biffle took it 1 yard on capping off a 5-play, 38-yard drive for just 2 minutes. That made it 14-7. And then the Huskies got a passing play, a 36-yard touchdown pass from Shikitano to Ross, capped off a 5-play, 57-yard drive for the Huskies. That made it 21-7. Taking a look at the individual stats for the Huskies, Biffle, 8 carries, 51 yards. Shikitano, 2 carries, -2. Ross, 2 carries for 6. And Downey, 1 carry for 4. As a team, the Huskies, 13 carries, 59 yards. Shikitano, 1 of 2 for passing, 36 yards, and that touchdown strike. Gooby 0 for 1 in his time on the field. Ross has the only reception for the Huskies, 36 yards, 95 yards of total offense for the Huskies. For the New Prairie Cougars, Coulter Smith, 13 carries, 29 yards. Reed Robinson, 7 carries, 44 yards and a touchdown. And Noah Oberle, 4 carries, 10 yards. Robinson, 2 of 8 through the air, 13 yards. Laskowski with an 8-yard reception. And Coulter Smith with a 5-yard reception as the New Prairie Cougars have picked up 96 yards of total offense for the Cougars. We're going to step aside and we come back. We'll allow Marcus Clayton to join us here in the studio as you're watching Huskies football here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
Childhood cancer it's a long road. It's hard, but St. Jude has gotten us through it. St. Jude has hope that you have a chance at life. And it goes such a long way for every child diagnosed with cancer because everything that's learned is shared all over the world. It's awesome.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Welcome back to Regional Radio Sports Network's coverage of Huskies football. So glad to be joined by a man I shared a classroom with once upon a time at the old St. Joe High School, Marcus Clayton. Marcus, first of all, great to have you back here at St. Joe. What does being honored tonight mean to you?
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you guys here at Regional Radio Sports for making us a part of this special night. I'm so proud of you and everything that you've done. But this is a celebration. In 30 years, I know it's hard to believe.
It goes fast, doesn't it?
It does. But to be back out here with my brothers, people that I grew up with, this was the greatest time of our lives, just growing up. And, I had the opportunity to play after high school and college, but there was nothing like those 4 years here at St. Joe High School where we started to being 1-0 in that final game on November 25th, 1995. As you can tell, it's something that we still hold near and dear to our hearts.
Take us back to the 94 season when you guys went 11-1. How long did it take after you guys unfortunately got knocked out by Griffith to kind of begin to turn the page and go, you know what, we've got something special here. We've got a chance to take this one all the way to Indy the following season.
So the interesting thing about that night at Griffith, we were up 7-0. We get in the second half, and our best player, our team captain, and our heartbeat that year, Joe Littrell, he gets hurt the first possession of the second half, and we didn't respond well. That was our first adversity that we had truly that season, and we ended up losing that game 14-7. So to answer your question, it just took the bus ride back home. And myself and Jeff Harris, we sat together and we said, look, let's get the seniors together when we get back to the locker room, and let's talk about what we need to do for next season. And that's what we did. We got all 17 seniors together, and we made a commitment to each other. We said we're going to work our tails off in the offseason, no issues off the field, and we're going to do whatever it takes to be 1-0 at the end of the season.
You guys go into that season, that magical 14-0 season in 95, as the opening kickoff here in the second half is going to be recovered by the Huskies, and they'll take over 1st and 10 at around midfield. But when did you guys, as a collective group, not just the coaching staff, just the players themselves, when did you guys begin to realize, hey, this is a magical team, we've got an opportunity to do something special?
I think we knew coming into the season that we had the opportunity to be special. I think, going back to 94, our goal was to beat Northwood because they had put us out the year before. Our goal in 95 was to win a state championship. And what was challenging about it is that, we didn't have a team, a St. Joe team that had ever made it that far. Before that, I think semi-state was kind of the benchmark there. So I think we knew once we got through week 7, we played the Michigan State champion, Stevensville Lakeshore, and we beat them 35-0. And that's when we knew going into the tournament that, as we, Northwood, Twin Lakes, and then eventually Fort Wayne, Harding, and Jasper, we just knew that it was going to take a really good team to beat the team that we had put together.
And that Twin Lakes game was in a monsoon, if I remember.
At School Field.
At School Field.
Yeah.
But that had to have been a terrific game over there at School Field. That's the last time you guys basically played at home, as you played Harding.
Correct.
The following weekend, and then obviously the trip down to Indianapolis. But what was it like that last game, playing at home, playing in front of your home crowd, knowing that you guys put on the best performance you could in front of the greatest fans in high school football?
In that monsoon?
In that monsoon.
Well, you know what? it's for me not to speak to just the preparation. We were prepared 4 years for that moment. And what I mean by that is, if you remember the old St. Joe High School, we didn't really have let's say a game field. We practiced in those type conditions. And I give all the credit to Coach Amato because he made us, we were so mentally tough because, again, it didn't matter what the elements were. We had to go out. He expected us to be focused. He expected us to execute. He expects us to play together as a team. And so that night, I believe it was November 10th, 1995, or November 11th, we put it all together and we held on as bad as it was, and we advanced to semi-state.
As Biffle goes around the right end for a 4-yard pickup. I was at that game. I left at halftime because I was soaked. I had to get out of there and go home, but I knew the way you guys were playing, you weren't going to let Twin Lakes come in and beat you guys. Now
it was all about that next week, though.
It was. It's always tough to go down to the Summit City and play a team, whether you're playing Snyder or, in your case, Harding. It's just the bus ride down there, it had to be the anticipation. You guys want to get on the field. You want to hit somebody. You want to make a big play. You go there, and you end up beating Harding, knowing that you're going to Indianapolis the following week. That bus ride home, you guys must have felt like $1 million coming home.
Well, you know what? That was the first real test we had that year, and really the only test. We were up 14-0, and they came back and tied it 14-14 with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. And I remember walking back to the sideline and, just us seniors coming together and just said, last year in this same moment we failed. This year we refused to lose. And we went back out there and we put together 2 impressive drives, and we ended up winning that game 27-14. So to your point, that bus ride home, what I would say is on the field, in the locker room, it was emotion. And Coach Amato, he is such a strong person that he's always forward thinking. Okay, We're 1-0 tonight. Tomorrow we're back to 0-0. That night, it was pure emotion and elation, and most of us slept because if you recall, that was a long bus ride home.
Long bus ride home.
But we knew what we had accomplished. We knew we had accomplished something that a St. Joe team had had yet to do that, and we were so excited to be representing the city of South Bend and our school community in the state championship game.
As Gooby's pass falls incomplete, talking with Marcus Clayton, captain of the 95 St. Joe, then Indians, now Huskies state championship team. It's still kind of weird calling us the Huskies. We'll always be St. Joe Indians.
We'll always be that.
But
yes.
But as we then turn the page to the state championship game, what are some of the emotions going into Lucas Oil Stadium? You're playing on at that point, it's basically the biggest stage for a lot of you guys. It was the biggest stage of your careers to get down there to play at what was then the Hoosier Dome, and now Lucas Oil Stadium. But just talk about what kind of a thrill that is as Biffle gets down to the 8-yard line. But just talk about what kind of a thrill that is, just the trip down there and then actually lacing up, getting ready in the locker room, talking to your boys for the last time in a pregame. Just talk to us who wouldn't experience that. Just talk about what kind of feelings and emotions were going there.
It's everything. I still, get emotional just thinking about it. But it was everything about that week from, going to the mall on that Sunday to get turf shoes, right? It's like, could you ever imagine wearing turf shoes? Because back then it wasn't this nice stuff they have now turf-wise. It was carpet there in the dome. And, from that to, again, Coach Amato, he's a creature of habit. We still practice outside 3 days, even though we're playing indoors. But we had the opportunity to go practice at Notre Dame a couple days. But then, the pep rally we had, the excitement. It's, this is the week of Thanksgiving, so it was a short week of school. Never forget the send-off we had and leaving that morning. But it's just a culmination of emotions because, one, you're trying to finish your goal, and that's to bring a state championship back to St. Joe. But then it's also, hey, I played with some of these guys since 4th grade. And with all the success we've had, this is our last game together? Are you kidding me? So you're trying to manage those emotions. But, again, we were focused on winning a championship, and we knew the job wasn't done. So we were able to channel those emotions. But if you recall, we were fortunate to be up 28-0 in that fourth quarter. After we scored that last touchdown, I'll never forget Sean Wade scored that last touchdown. I gave him a big hug in the end zone because we knew we were going to be champions at that point. But that last few minutes of us walking off the field, the coaches called us off one at a time, and we came and we, I'd be remiss not to mention Father Bly, he was the man. And we gave Father Bly a hug. We gave Coach Amato a hug. We loved on each other. There was tears. There were smiles. So all of that was bottled up in that week. But to be able to say that as a senior, we won our last game. How many kids can say that across the country? I won my last game of my career, and it just so happens to be the biggest games of our life.
And more importantly, you were 1-0 after that Thanksgiving weekend.
Right.
It was just so funny when, going into gym class and seeing Coach Amato's office, and it was 1-0. 1-0, nothing else matters. And for you guys to give us such a great thrill in 95, something as just a regular student and as a fan, it's something I'll never forget. We didn't even talk about the fact that you made the big interception coming out of the second half, and it really shut down the whole Jasper rally. And Waite had 2 touchdowns. Blair Kyle had a couple touchdowns in that game. But, defensively, you guys were a juggernaut all season, and everything just came to a head in that, especially in the state championship game. A 28-0 win. What a great way to end your high school career.
And what made it even, you got a touchdown there. All right.
As a touchdown. As Dallas Downey in the end zone. What a surprise.
Zone. And you know what? And that's the great thing I was just about to say is that what was so neat about that game, and starting with Dallas's dad, who's our head coach, Ben Downey, Ben had a tremendous game. Jeff Harris, who was the most valuable player of the game, he had a tremendous game on both sides of the ball. Blair Kyle, my quarterback since 5th grade, he had his best game of the year. Sean Wade, Christian Hurley, so many guys stepped it up in the P. Reardon, who's the head coach of Penn. Everyone played their best game of the year when we needed it the most. And as a result, we were champions.
As Ryder Place puts one towards the east side of South Bend, and the Huskies have rattled off 28 straight points since the Reed Robinson 2-yard scamper early in the first quarter. And Marcus, I'll get you out of here with this. You've done the college. You played in college. You also coached down in Indianapolis. When everything is said and done after your football career is long over from coaching and playing, how do you want to be remembered? And how do you want this team especially that you played with, your band of brothers from that 95 team, to be remembered?
I say this all the time. I've been very blessed in my football life, from the teams I was involved with in ICCL to, win a state championship at St. Joe, college, and then as an assistant coach, I was part of the first team in Indiana to win 4 straight state championships at Warren Central, won 3 additional football state championships as an athletic director. And I tell people this all the time. The legacy for me and for my teammates is here at St. Joe. This is my greatest defining football moment. That journey that we went on, and for us to come together and make history and do something that 30 years later a South Bend team, hasn't done. And before that, South Bend, Washington, 1973. So we want our legacy to be as one of the best teams to not only come out of the city of South Bend and out of this high school, but one of the best teams in the state. And the stats show that. We were a dominant team. We were a band of brothers, and we will forever be known as the 1995 Class 3A state champions.
Well, I'll tell you what, you guys put on a heck of a show for 14 weeks in the year of 1995. I was so blessed to be a classmate of yours and to be able to watch you guys on the field. You guys were absolutely exceptional. Thanks a lot for coming on here,
Thanks.
my man.
And if I could, real quick, I just want to thank Principal Kennedy and Miss A.D. Anthony for allowing us to come back here and celebrate. Henry Chandler, who's in charge of our Alumni Association, and you guys as well. Just for us to come back here to our roots and celebrate this is special. So thank you.
It's always great to come home, isn't it?
Yes, always.
All right. Marcus, thank you so much, man, for all that you've done for us.
Thank you.
Marcus Clayton, the captain of the 1995 South Bend St. Joe Class 3A state championship team, as the Huskies march down the field for a touchdown. And now Reed Robinson and company have the ball for the Cougars.
You guys did great, man.
Hey, man.
Marcus Clayton looks like he can still go a little bit, man.
Marcus, not only is he a phenomenal human being, he's obviously a phenomenal athlete, but I'll tell you what, he'd give you the shirt off his back. He looks in better shape now than he was when he was in high school.
He looks like he could still go. Is he coaching football somewhere?
He was coaching at Warren Central.
That's what I thought.
And he won 4 straight down there in Indianapolis. But, again, want to thank Marcus Clayton for coming in and just hanging out for a few minutes, talking about that 95 team. Had a key interception in the state championship against Jasper, as Robinson rolling out to the left, and he'll get popped out of bounds. Be down at about the 24-yard line, pickup of 2.
Yeah, it was nice to see St. Joe break it up a little bit and score through the air. Ben Downey's offensive philosophy in this game has been much different maybe than his first 2, where they attempted 48 passes in those first 2 games. Tonight, they're running the football and trying to capitalize a little bit off play action. And just a great ball from Gooby to Downey in the end zone for the touchdown, which gives them a 28-7 lead.
And as I said to Marcus Clayton, gee, a surprise, Downey in the end zone. As his dad, Ben, a tremendous player in his own right, as Laundrie's littering the field. Robinson, it is picked off and taking it back to the house. As Ryan Ruskowski goes back for a pick 6, but there is Laundrie on the field.
Just a lot of pressure on Robinson, and Ruskowski from his free safety position read the pass. It's a motion penalty on New Prairie, so the touchdown stands for St. Joe. Ruskowski read the passing lane, jumped it, and once he got his hands on the ball, he smelled the end zone. and lights up the scoreboard again for the Huskies.
Ruskowski, 28 yards to pay dirt. Now the Huskies just having a ball, 35-7. That's Penn over at Everwise. Freed Field leads Riley 49-6. That game will be running clock as Tanner Camp, Matt Lilliard, Matt Copsey from RRSN making the call on that one. As the kick is up from Ryder Place. And the kick is no good.
Ryder Place has been almost automatic throughout the first 3 games of this season, so it's very atypical to see him miss an extra point. But nonetheless, St. Joe leads this game 34-7, and I'm sure it was just a blast for you to sit up here and talk to Marcus Clayton, especially since you guys went to school together, were in classes together.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I was talking with 2 of my actual class of 98 classmates, Mike McCarthy, who is the cross-country coach here at St. Joe High School, and my good friend Greg Weber. He and I work for the South Bend Cubs together. We were just talking about just some of the kids on that team, and Marcus Clayton's name came up, and I was like, Marcus and I sat in the corner of Henry Chandler's geography class, and we would just trade sports stories basically the entire class. And just he's a humble and such a down-to-earth human being. He's just an incredible person to get to know. And I'm not shocked in the least that he remembered me. Because I'm just not. Because that's just the kind of person he is. Well, every person is important to him.
Yeah, but that's the kind of person you are. Who could forget J.P. Jobert?
Well, this face is a face that only a mother could love. Just got to remember that. So Ryder plays back to kick off. Ball will be spotted at the 40.
Still 7:17 left in the third quarter.
There's plenty of time.
As St. Joe has exploded for 13 points to start this second half of this NIC tilt between New Prairie and the Huskies.
Of course, next week, a big one as far as the NIC is concerned.
Well, as far as the Holy War is concerned, too. The Indians, or the Huskies against the Marion Knights. Here at Father Blythe Field will just be a tremendous game, a tremendous place to be at, and I can't wait to broadcast that game.
The Crosstown Catholic Classic will take place 7 o'clock next week. I think that's what they should just call it, the Crosstown Catholic Classic, between Marion and St. Joe, as New Prairie will head out.
I kind of like the Holy War myself, man.
Yeah.
I kind of like the Holy War. It is always a war. When I played at St. Joe back in the 70s, playing Marion in any sport was a war.
When the Knights and Indians played together, yeah, it was a war. But now the Huskies are a gentle animal. As the quarterback Robinson scampers to the right side, he has found running a tough sledding today.
Robinson on the keeper.
As Robinson will run around to the outside, he'll pick up a couple.
It's a nice job of flowing to the football by the Huskies, and defensively, they're a really good football team. They shut out Fort Wayne, and they gave up a score to Lakeland because of a missed tackle, not because Lakeland drove the field on them. They're stingy. They play their gaps and in the rushing lanes really well, and now they can pin their ears back and go after Robinson.
34-7. As laundry flying everywhere, it'll be a false start penalty on the Cougars. And that'll back them up 5.
False start, New Prairie.
If you're New Prairie, you need one of those 80-yard drives right now just to kind of get the game. I'm not saying you can win the game, but just to keep your offense on the field, keep St. Joe's offense off of the field, and just move the ball. But that'll be tough sledding against the Husky defense here.
The Huskies gave up only 96 yards of total offense in that first half.
But I want to say, I believe they outgained St. Joe in that first
96-95.
Yes, and then you look at the score, 21-7, and a lot of that yardage on the kickoff return and on the 18-yard punt return and the two short fields that St. Joe had.
And we'd be remiss to say that the kick six by James Cornetti was the absolute turning point in this contest. New Prairie had all that momentum.
And I'm sure a little anxiety on the St. Joe coaches because they're riding high, and then all of a sudden Cornetti erases all of that.
As the pitch and catch out here from Robinson as he escapes the pocket to Eberle. As the Huskies have a player down back at the 21-yard line.
Might be Colby Ado.
As the coaching and training staff tend to the injured Husky on the field, we'll take a break. As you're watching Huskies football here on the Regional Radio Sports Network, Huskies up 34-7 midway through the third quarter.
If the world we live in spoke to you, it would have a torrent of things to say. It would say meaning is subjective. Belonging? Just opt in. Be sure to comment and like. It would say followers provide purpose. We say there is another path where you battle to belong, where there's a cause to fight for, where you earn a place among the few, the proud, the Marines. Learn more at marines.com.
At the Veterans Health Administration, we provide life-changing care to over 9 million veterans across more than 1,200 facilities nationwide.
Our hands are busy, competent, skilled, healing, helping, and friendly. A place where diverse teams come together hand in hand to provide full patient-centered care, and where even robots lend a hand.
Join hands with us. Learn more at vacareers.va.gov.
The fighting.
Good to see Kobe Adu walking under his own power, although he's being escorted to the St. Joe bench.
Let's not make any mistake about this game. I mean, the game of football is a physical game. You have players colliding, collisions, and our hearts go out to players when we see them coming off and having some type of injury.
There's Lewis Cruz standing back at his 9-yard line. The punt nearly goes over his head. He'll get a punt off as Downey is back inside his own territory. And the ball will be downed at about the 47-yard line of New Prairie. That's where St. Joe will take over. And with 5:44 remaining, another score here.
Yeah, it might be all St. Joe needs. I kind of believe that the way St. Joe has dominated this game, that you can put a fork in it, but there's still a lot of time on this clock. Halftime score in the Northern Lakes Conference, Mishawaka 24, Concord 21. And I know that is a huge, huge game in the NLC. Concord undefeated. Mishawaka takes a loss last week at Penn, a non-conference loss, but this is a big conference game, and the Cavemen are up by 3 at the end of the first 2 quarters.
They're going to be one of the top teams in 4A to try to knock out of the state tournament. And Chicatano now rolling to the left. He's going to fire it downfield, and the pass is going to be complete to Dallas Downey. Downey down at the 36-yard line.
Chicatano does a nice job of rolling to his left, eluding the pressure, and then squaring his shoulders. It's tough to throw across your body like that. He does a great job of squaring his shoulders and then putting the ball on a rope to Downey for a first down.
So Chickatano now 2 of 3 for 47 yards and a touchdown. Both he and Gooby with a touchdown. As Chickatano rolling out, he'll find Downey to the 25, to the 20, and he'll step out of bounds at about the 18-yard line on the far side. It's an 18-yard pickup.
Yeah, I mean, the pitch and catch between Chickatano and his receivers is really impressive. Chickatano's a 6'2 junior, very athletic, can get outside the pocket, throws the ball on a rope, and their passing offense is really, really tough to play against. You put that together now with the fact that Biffle's doing a great job of carrying the football. That's a tough offense to prepare for.
So it'll be Husky ball, 1st and 10 of the 13. And heading down towards the 5, around the 3 is going to be Chaplin. Carried the ball 9 times for 55 yards coming into the ball game.
Yeah, he's a nice change of pace back as opposed to Biffle. Biffle's going to hit in there and not look to run away from you. He's going to look to run over you. Chaplin's got some great wheels.
And the Huskies getting close to the end zone, and they're in. Champlin with another St. Joe 6. This time from 5 yards out. And the Huskies are pulling away. It's 40-7.
And we got some Michael Jackson. Man, are you kidding me? On a Friday night in the Bend at St. Joe Field, and Mike's on the speakers. I'm getting up ready to do the moonwalk.
Oh, Lord.
You don't want to see that.
Oh, Lord. Place is on for the point after touchdown. Oh, goodness. Hold is down, kick is up. It's heading towards the east side of town, and Huskies, they're just having fun now. 41-7 the score as they lead New Prairie in the NIC opener. We'll step aside when we come back. We'll have the scoring drive as we'll thank our friends at LiUNA as you're watching Huskies football here on the Regional Radio Sports Network. Sports Network's coverage of South Bend St. Joe Huskies football. J.P. Gilbert along with Ronna Kalinsky. Class of 98 and 74 with you. As Megan Keeble is...
That's quite a disparity, isn't it?
I know.
You
don't look like you graduated in 74, and I sometimes don't act like I graduated in 98. So
I was going to say you don't act like you graduated at all sometimes.
Oh, man. Lord.
That's not true. You're the best, man.
Thanks, brother.
Had to say it.
The oldest of 3. We are 98, 01, and 08 in our family. We've also got 5 cousins that also graduated as the kick taken by one of the up men, and it'll be brought back to about the 40. The scoring drive. St. Joe goes 47 yards, 4 plays, 41 seconds. Champlin takes it the final 5 for the touchdown. So New Prairie will have the ball.
4:58. New Prairie is on the 30, their own 38-yard line. And I said it the drive before. I mean, the cure-all for New Prairie is is to possess the ball a little bit here. Keep the St. Joe offense off. Get their blocking schemes going. And I know it's a long night, but you still work on what you need to do.
And speaking of getting some additional carries, as the Cougars get a first down. As Sinka goes right up the middle.
That's about a 14-yard gain. Just hit up there quick. The linebacker never got a chance to get up and fill the hole, and the running back just burst through that for 14.
Mason Sinka, the freshman. And now coming around the right side.
That's a great job by Ryan Ruskowski, the safety, to fill that and come up there really, really quick and make the hit for no gain.
Actually going to say they lost a yard.
The loss of 1.
As Robinson's still in there, still battling. And the handoff will be to Sinka. And he will get to about the 45.
Sinka, the ball carrier.
It's really valuable playing time for the freshmen for New Prairie, as not a lot of freshmen are either big enough, strong enough to play high school football. St. Joe has a couple of them. The Lassane kid who will play some nose tackle at about 6'3", 260. They also have an offensive tackle as a freshman that's really, really good also.
As
Dane
Robinson
Wolf.
flushed out of the pocket, he loses balance temporarily, and it's picked off at about the 30-yard line. And Jack Keegan steps in front of that one, and he'll have the interception.
Yeah, and again, that's an example what pressure can do to a quarterback. As Robinson was running for his life and put the ball up, Keegan read it, stepped in front, and got the INT.
2:54 remaining in the third quarter. And the Huskies making life miserable for New Prairie tonight, as they'll have the ball on the 30-yard line.
Anthony Gooby in at quarterback, taking this series now, the 5'10", 180-pound junior, moved over from Adams High School.
As Gooby with the handoff.
No gain on the play.
No hole. Champlin ran into a mass of humanity. Second down and 10 for the Huskies.
So Champlin, who carried the ball 9 times for 55 yards in the 2 wins against the Lakeland Lakers in Week 1 and the Fort Wayne Southside Archers in Week 2. 3 carries for 13 yards and a touchdown.
And St. Joe will let the play clock run down. Probably not snap for the rest of this game till maybe about the 5-second or under mark.
As Gooby will take the shotgun. Champlin, he's to the 30. Cuts inside to the 35, down to about the 40. And forward progress will be stopped at about the 41. And that's plenty for a St. Joe first down.
Matt Champlin, a 5'9" sophomore. So as we play the rest of this game out, you'll see the youth of St. Joe. Champlin, sophomore. They're going to have him a couple more years. Gooby's a junior. The other quarterback, Sam Shikatano, is a junior. So when you start looking at players coming back, it's really interesting to see how the Huskies are built for not only today but for tomorrow also.
And you got 2 of the main weapons, Ross Crinity. They are both juniors. As the handoff is taken close to the 50-yard line.
Champlin again, the ball carrier.
As Champlin again.
I think Matt Champlin will have a steady diet of some ball carries here now.
And you look at the offensive line, Snavely, the right tackle, Hardy, the center, and Cousins, the starting left guard, all juniors. But you've also got Bane Wolf, a left tackle, or could play a little bit of guard, 6'3", 295, and a freshman. And you've got Lassane as well. So even though you lose a couple off the offensive line, you can still plug the holes with two up-and-comers as the ball gets away from Gooby, who is rightfully going to fall on it. Back at his own 40, or own 35, rather.
Bad snap and a great decision by Gooby. A lot of times players will bend down and try and pick the ball up. The ball gets knocked out. Gooby just got down on the turf, covered it, protected himself. St. Joe takes a loss, but they still retain possession.
3rd and 16 from their own 35. Line to get the New Prairie 49 as 11 seconds on the clock, a 1 second differential between play clock and game clock. And they're both going to expire at the same time. Game clock caught up with the play clock, and that's going to do it. 36 minutes in the books. We got 12 more to go, but it's been all Huskies here in the heart of downtown South Bend on the night we honor the 95 State Football Championship and the 2025 Girls Lacrosse and Boys Basketball State Championship teams. You're watching Huskies football right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
Phenomenal job yourself.
Back here at Father Bly Field at Layton Stadium. JP Gilbert, Ronna Klinsky, Megan Keeble. So glad you could join us on your Friday night fireworks night. Not too far from here at Four Winds Field, but the fireworks here, they've been all Husky offense as they have scored 41 unanswered points to lead the Cougs.
But you have to remember, it's not all the offense.
And it hasn't been all the offense. That's correct.
You've got a kickoff return. You've got an interception return. So they found ways to score, just not through the offense.
As the high snap by Gooby is pulled down. And
that's the second bad snap on this drive. Now it's 4th and 21.
As Champlin lost a couple yards.
We're going to see the punt team come out, as you would expect, for Coach Ben Downey.
And Ryder Place comes out for the first time to punt.
Ryder Place back to punt.
He's averaging about 37 yards a punt.
Just really a great kicking game for St. Joe. Not only as a place kicker, but also as a punter. St. Joe calls a timeout because they cannot get their punt coverage team right as they had too many players on the field again.
And just a reminder, as Coach Aklinski alluded to, next week, a big one here at Father Bly Field, as it'll be Holy War 25 as the Mishawaka Marion Knights come to town, led by Mike Davidson, who's done an absolutely fantastic job at the parochial school in Mishawaka. I know, I almost said Minnesota. He brings his team across town to take on Ben Downey and his St. Joseph Huskies. Huskies going to go into that Holy War unless a miracle happens for New Prairie. They'll go in 3-0, and Marion is locked up in a battle tonight with the South Bend John Adams Eagles. That game taking place at Otulski Field with Luke Schrock as well as Mike Rock on the call for that one.
End of 3 at Steel Stadium in Mishawaka. Mishawaka 31, Concord 28. Great football game in the Princess City tonight.
Of course, other games tonight include Valparaiso at LaPorte. And Lowell making the drive up to take on the Andrean Fighting 59ers. As places punt, trying to bring rain to South Bend, as it will be downed at the 47-yard line. A net of only 17 on the punt.
Good-looking kick. Didn't have enough English on it. Hit and bounced back and was not downed by St. Joe right away. So, maybe the punt teams have some things to work on, but on the defensive side of the football and the offensive side of the football, they look pretty clean tonight.
Well, they had a bunch of good role models to learn from, as that 95 state title team gave up just 5 points a contest, 7 shutouts, including 2 in the run to Indianapolis, as Robinson pulls it down, and he'll cross the 45 to about the 43. It'll be a pickup of about 5.
Looks like St. Joe has put a couple of the backups in now on the defensive side of the ball. With Charlie Gruey out of the game, Kobe Ado, I don't believe, has gone back in.
Jackson Kelly, one of those backups. He picks up his 4th tackle of the season. So 3rd and 5 as Robinson once again running for his life down to the right side. He's got some real estate to work with, and he's going to be tripped up.
It's a nice job by number 26, Stephen Hannen, a 5'11 junior, to run him down from behind and trip him up.
Forced out of bounds by Steve Hannen.
1st and 10 for the Cougars. As Robinson got out of the pocket, really good athlete, really quick runner, and if not for Hannen, probably could have got 5 to 10 more yards.
So a 6-yard pickup for Robinson. Ball will be placed at the 38-yard line of the Huskies. Robinson will send a man in motion. And Oberle going to get thrown to the turf with authority.
Oberle, the ball carrier, brought down by Jackson Kelly.
Jackson Kelly again on the tackle.
5'8 junior, 190 pounds, getting some valuable snaps here tonight, late in this game. This is why kids come to practice every day and play really hard. And when you get your shot on game night and get to put some of your play on film so you can be evaluated, I've never liked to call it mop-up time. I think it's valuable minutes for the second stringers.
As Oberle finds a hole on the right side to the 30, the 25. He's down inside the 20 to about the 18. There'll be a pickup of 18 for Oberle.
Oberle, the ball carrier.
And a first down. As we hear the multicolored fireworks blasting off over at Four Winds Field.
Did the Cubs play tonight?
Cubs did play tonight. They have 2 more games left on the regular season schedule. They'll play the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers tomorrow night at 7. And then they will end the 2025 season at home against Wisconsin. As Robinson, he'll turn the corner to about the 10, and he'll get stopped after about an 8-yard pickup.
There is a flag on the play.
But some laundry on the field.
So you're telling me that that the South Bend Cubs only have 2 games left in their season?
That is it. 2 games left, and the season is over as they got eliminated from postseason play as Beloit knocked off Peoria last night in a 9-8 thriller. Peoria had the go-ahead run at second with 2 outs and could have saved South Bend's season. As the handoff going to be to Oberle, and he'll be inside the 5, down to about the 3.
Oberle, the ball carrier.
It's been a tremendous season down in South Bend, or down at Four Winds Field, of course, of all the renovations that are going on over there.
When will that renovation be done? I mean, by the start of next season, or will it drag into the 26
They
season?
are supposed to have everything done before the end of the 26 season. So
that's exciting.
It is exciting. They are doing a terrific job over there. Andrew Berlin, the owner, he loves the franchise. As New Prairie trying to scratch at least a consolation touchdown in. And Oberle will get the ball down to about the 1.
7:18 and the clock running. This is a big, a casual fan might look and say, this touchdown doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter. It matters to the New Prairie players. Robinson is still in this game. He's still battling. The rest of the starters are still battling for New Prairie, and it does matter to them.
Jackson Kelly on the stop as it's 3rd and 1 as the clock hits 6:52 to go, and Oberle is into the end zone for the touchdown.
Just a quick hitter. The right side of the offensive line did a nice job of hitting that hole and opening that up. And, Oberle got through there really, really quick. 41-13.
So Logan Chalik will come on to attempt the extra point. Trenton Mamaza to hold. As Tyler Pranger will snap it. Snap is low, and Mamaza now running for his life. He'll heave it towards the end zone, and it is knocked away and falls incomplete.
There's a flag on the field against New Prairie, and it's automatic. When it's a bad snap, it's an automatic call by the placeholder, and you generally get somebody on the end of the line running an out route. And you try and get it to them. St. Joe did a nice job of recognizing that. And that's what those walkthroughs were for on Thursday, a practice before the game. A lot of walkthroughs, a lot of mental reps. And that's what typically the special teams coach will put his units through. So nice job by St. Joe to recognize that and not give up the 2-point conversion.
So we just heard Mishawaka 48-34 winners over the Concord Minutemen. So Mishawaka now 2-1 on the young season.
And more importantly, 1-0 in the NLC. 2-0 in the NLC. Concord was undefeated. And I had Keith Kinder on Coach's Corner last night at Corby's Irish Pub. And Keith Kinder was really worried about that game. Thought Concord was a really, really good high school football team.
Well, Keith Kinder is a really, really good high school coach, and he has his teams ready for anybody. And again, they're going to be a tough out in that 4A state tournament.
Paired up with St. Joe in the sectional here in South Bend.
That's sectional 18. We'll get to that in a second. They got some pretty good teams. As it's going to be an onside kick as the hands teams are out for St. Joe. And the Huskies will have the football. Sectional 18 has 3 South Bend schools. Riley, St. Joe, and Washington. They'll also have Wawasee and Plymouth. But they've also got 3 tough ones.
34, Washington 13.
As Elkhart wins over Washington 34-13. Northwood, Mishawaka, and Northridge.
49. Riley, 5th.
Yeah, I don't think that Penn victory, 49-6 over Riley, surprises anybody. Penn is a really good football team this year. They beat Mishawaka and Coach Kinder's club last week, and Coach Kinder told me he thought this was one of the best Penn teams that they've had in a while.
Penn next week will be on the road, not too far from here at Schoolfield, as Chickatano is going to hand it off and going straight up the middle as a bucket has fallen off the head of one of the players.
Strowman, the ball carrier for the Huskies. And that's a St. Joe first down.
As the St. Joe Huskies pick up a first down.
Lincoln Gerard with the tackle for the Cougars.
Lincoln Gerard with the tackle. Here's a little interesting note. There are 3 members on this new Prairie team I actually coached last year. Lincoln Gerard is one of them. Logan Chalik, the kicker, another one. And Ian Rowland, who's playing in a backup role tonight, is a third. All 3 played for Valparaiso's club hockey team a year ago.
Will Solomon powers ahead.
Chickatano hands off to number 20, Will Solomon. And again, we talked about freshmen. Will's a 5'9", 175-pound freshman running back, and took that handoff and rambled up the field, and looks like a really good young physical football player.
Already 20 yards on the ground for Solomon. As clock continues to tick, under 5:20 to go. St. Joe ahead comfortably, 41-13. High snap. And yet again, another one of those high snaps, and that's something Ben Downey's not going to be happy with.
Yeah, the third one in the last 2 series for the Huskies, and I'm sure it's a young center. I can't make out his number, but those are things that you got to get cleaned up. Chickatano now running back in after he physically got the play call from Ben Downey, 15 seconds on the play clock. And again, I said you won't snap this until maybe 5 seconds or below to let that game clock run out.
As Huskies going to play a little conservative on 3rd and 9.
Charlie Huff took that hand off the 5'11 sophomore.
Charlie Huff, the ball carrier for St. Joe.
Got nothing out of it. Looks like Place may come in, and I don't know. Yeah, he'll punt it. It's a little bit too far for a field goal. It's at the 40. Be a 67-yard field goal. I would say it's a little too far.
Yeah, that is too far for a lot of kickers. As Place on for the second time. He averages 37 yards a kick. He's standing on the 45-yard line, and he is more than content to let the play clock run. And Coach Downey will take a timeout. We'll take it with him. 3:38 remaining. Huskies well on their way to their 3rd straight victory to open up the season, as you're watching Huskies football right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network. Back here at Father Bly Field at Layton Stadium. JP Gilbert, Ron Aklinski, Megan Cable. So glad you could join us on your Friday night. It has been all Huskies, 41-13 the score, as the Huskies get set for next weekend's Holy War right here at Father Bly Field. 7 o'clock kickoff, 6:30 pregame show. Coach Aklinski and I will be right back here. It'll be good to get to do a game with you back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I can't wait. My week will be really exciting to think that I'll be back with the JP Gilbert show at
We're going
to field.
And we're going to try to do everything in our power to get Megan Keeble to come back here on Friday night, as the punt will be down at about the 17-yard line. And that's where New Prairie will take over.
Down at the 17, where New Prairie will take over.
So with 3:30 remaining in the contest, New Prairie takes over 1st and 10. Cougars head home after this one. They'll have back-to-back home games. They'll take on the John Adams Eagles and then get set for a big matchup with Trayvon Curry's Elkhart Lions. As ball is snapped over Robinson's head, and he will quickly dive on it.
Mason Gleason at quarterback now for New Prairie, who recovers the fumble.
A lot of the games in the state tonight are already completed, with St. Joe starting this game about a half hour later due to the time difference for New Prairie. So as you would look through a lot of the scores, a lot of teams are done already. Northwood beats Wawasee 36-7.
As Mason Cleast now in at quarterback. The freshman getting some time, and St. Joe's defense going to get in on the act as they will record the safety.
Jackson Kelly
as Jackson Kelly gets credit for the safety, and it's 43-13.
We've called Jackson Kelly's name here a few times in this fourth quarter, and in the third quarter he got some run also. He's really, really aggressive. The 5'8", 190-pound junior gets credit for the safety. So now the defense tonight has scored 9 points. The special teams has scored 7 points, and the offense has scored the rest.
27 points for the offense.
Good job
for those. Hey, man.
I'm a PE major.
I took good math.
PE health.
I took good math classes here at St. Joe.
Good for you. Did you have John Watowicz for any classes?
I did not. I did not have. He is
math teacher.
He and I actually went to the same parish together.
John Watowicz
at Christ the King. Yes,
that's amazing. I love John.
I will say this: he is the one professor, other than Father Bly, that scared me half to death because he was such an intimidating figure.
No, he was. He was a large man, and he carried himself very, very well. He was just an outstanding math teacher.
I should also include Frank Amato, the head coach of the 95 state champion. He is a very intimidating human being, as well as the kick is in and out of the hands and picked up at about the 18-yard line and getting roughed up here on the near sideline
is Matt Champlin.
Champlin on the return.
And he looked like he had no idea where the ball was when it went in and out of his hands.
Well, it went in and out of his hands, then it hit his helmet. And it's a feeling like, where's the ball, man? I can't, I got my helmet on. I can't move around everywhere.
Next couple games for St. Joe. The Huskies will be here next week when they host Marion. And then they head over to School Field. They could walk to School Field from here. They'll play Adams and then get ready on Friday, September 26th, when they head to Rice Field to take on Trayvon Curry's Elkhart Lions. As the handoff going around the far side is Laundry littering the field in the backfield.
Will Sullivan, the ball carrier. Flag on the play, holding against St. Joe.
Yeah, and as the head coach, and I know it's a different sport. Basketball is obviously a lot different than football, but when you put the reserves in, whether it is basketball or football, you want clean play. And there were many times that I sat on the bench saying, if these guys don't pick it up, man, I'm putting the starters back in because I ain't watching this.
Well, one of those starters that is back in is Shikatano. And I gotta believe we won't see him throw the ball. He'll be handing it off.
He's a handoff machine in this last 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Room 222. I want to say room 222 is Mr. Watowich's room. I could be wrong.
I don't remember. It was so long ago.
It just hit me when I saw the 222.
The Huskies have the ball on the 22. Shikatano's going to hand it right off. And busting right up the middle on the run.
Charlie Huff, the ball carrier.
Charlie Huff did a nice job of hitting in there, of hitting up, and then spinning away from a tackler and continuing to keep his feet moving. Nice run for the 5'11 side. And again, another sophomore running back. Champlin's a sophomore running back. Will Solomon is a freshman running back. Charlie Huff is a sophomore running back. A lot of youth on this St. Joe roster.
As Shikatano's going to hand it off right back to Huff. And he'll go around the right side. They'll get stopped after a couple. As the clock now winds down to under a minute to go.
And I'd be remiss if I didn't call out number 73. Nice job on the line blocking Cameron Boyd. And have I mentioned the youth of St. Joe? A freshman, 6'1", 245. Number 73, Cameron Boyd. Man, I like to see that. I like to see young kids getting their feet wet and having an understanding what varsity sports entails.
As Shikatano will hand it right back off to Huff as he'll go past the 35-yard line to the 37. As that'll most likely be the last play of the game. I'd be remiss if before we signed off, Niles Vikings come up with a big win. They beat the Lakeshore Lancers 16-0. As they are now 2-0 on their young season. As they have an injured Husky on the field.
Oh, you hate to see that.
And the clock will indeed run out. And the Huskies close it out with a 43-13 win over the New Prairie Huskies, over the New Prairie Cougars. Huskies now 3-0 on the year. Cougars fall to 0-3. We'll step aside when we come back. We'll have our final analysis. We'll name our players of the game, and we'll send you on your way as you're watching St. Joe Huskies football here on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
The spirit of the Marine Corps is born of battles won. Battles won within, over enemies of fear, enemies of doubt. It's who we are. It's what we do. It's a promise made to you for more than 2 centuries. A promise of the Marines. Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, wherever the mission takes us, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines. There is no easy way in. There are no compromises, shortcuts, or excuses. There is no backing down, slowing down, or giving up. There is no greater challenge and no greater purpose. There is no easy way in. If there were, it wouldn't be the Marine Corps. If you think you have what it takes to earn the title, visit Marines.com or call 1-800-MARINES. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Back here on the Regional Radio Sports Network, JP Gilbert, Ronna Klinsky, Megan Keeble. So glad you could join us on your Friday night here at Father Bly Field as the St. Joseph Huskies move to 3-0 on the season with a thoroughly convincing 43-13 victory over the New Prairie Cougars. Cougars got on the board first with a 2-yard touchdown run by Reed Robinson, but that lead would be short-lived as James Crenity took one 89 yards on the ensuing kickoff to make it 7-all. Franco Biffle would put the game away with a 1-yard TD run. And then on the very next drive, Sam Chicatano found Antoine Ross in the end zone. That made it 21-7. And then opening up the second half, Anthony Gooby found Dallas Downey in the back of the end zone, 21 yards to make it 28-7. Ruskowski would then tack on a 28-yard interception return, point after touchdown, no good. Champlin would add a 5-yard touchdown, and then Carson Cinca a 1-yard consolation TD. The defense of St. Joe would get a safety to make it 41-13. Coach, you thought when New Prairie took that opening drive 70 yards and melted the first 5 and change off the clock, you thought New Prairie was going to have a roll, and then James Crenity said, I'm going to take this one to the house, and I'm going to get my team back into the ballgame. And then the entire defense took over.
Well, and that's exactly, if you're New Prairie, that's exactly what you wanted to do to start out the game. Keep your offense on the field, keep St. Joe's defense on the field, keep St. Joe's vaunted offense off of the field, have a long scoring drive, which they did, which, talking to the St. Joe coaches on the field before the game, they had a very, very real they were really concerned about the ability of New Prairie to play the game of football. Although they started out slow this season, they understand the tradition of New Prairie football. So I'm thinking, as Ben Downey is thinking, he's got a little anxiety. Man, we can't stop him. Robinson ran the ball all over us. They hit those quick hitters up in the middle, and they had St. Joe coaches, not the players, because players don't have a tendency to believe scouting reports sometimes, but the coaches had some anxiety. James Crenity, in 12 seconds, took that anxiety and said, boys, put this on my shoulder. I'm going to the house. He returns the touchdown, and then it's all St. Joe for the rest of the first half. Now, interesting about St. Joe, in that first half, maybe they only attempted 3 passes, and their MO is either Gooby or Chicatano, who is at the controls from the quarterback position, can throw the football. And St. Joe really didn't get their passing game going maybe until the third quarter when they had some strikes. But they did a nice job of controlling the line of scrimmage and showing people on film that not only can they push the ball up the field via the pass, but they can run the football also.
There's only one more thing left to do in tonight's broadcast. That's name our players of the game. And for New Prairie, this was a tough one from right after that first drive. Reed Robinson did as much as he could with his squad trying to get them back into the game, but that defense from St. Joe just too much. Player of the game from New Prairie.
Reed Robinson. I think he hung in there, made some plays, used his quickness, paid the price because he got hit really hard quite a few times. But I thought he played really well, played a really courageous game for New Prairie.
And we made mention of Crenity's name a lot, but you found a different player of the game. You really liked the way the Gruey played in this one.
No, in the second quarter, he turned the game around from the defensive end position probably 3 or 4 straight times. New Prairie tried to go to the right side, the left side of the defensive formation. Charlie Gruey was the outside linebacker on that side and made play after play after play. 2 or 3 of them real physical plays where he literally threw the ball carrier down, the ball carrier being Robinson a couple of times. So I thought Charlie really impacted the game from his right side linebacker position. And if I had to give another player from St. Joe that I thought played really well too in this game, I thought Franco Biffle really controlled the game from the ground. When he had running lanes inside, he hit up in there quick and refused to go down. He got to the outside a couple of times, but he is such a great straight-ahead runner. I thought he impacted the game also.
So then our players of the game, Reed Robinson from New Prairie and Charlie Gruey from South Bend St. Joe. That's going to do it for our broadcast tonight of South Bend St. Joe football. Our next Regional Radio Sports Network broadcast of St. Joseph football will be a week from tonight, September 12th. The Crosstown Catholic Classic, known as the Holy War. Marion, St. Joe, from right here at Father Bly Field. Myself, Ron Aklinski, we will be here. We're going to try to do anything we can to bring Megan Keeble back for yet another game. Get her immersed in her first Holy War here at South Bend St. Joe. We want to thank the United States Marines, Cubit Network, McDonald Physical Therapy, LiUNA, the Indiana Football Digest 2025 IFD covers all 314 teams in the state of Indiana and every college program within the Hoosier State. You can buy it at IndianaFootballDigest.com. We want to thank our two head coaches, Ben Downey of the South Bend St. Joseph Huskies, as well as Ryan O'Shea of the New Prairie Cougars for their time before the game. We want to thank Athletic Director Stephen Anthony of St. Joseph as well. And we'd be remiss if we didn't thank Marcus Clayton, the captain of the 1995 St. Joseph High School Indians state championship football team, for spending some time with us at the end of halftime and at the start of the third quarter. For my broadcast partner, the great Ron Aklinski, for Megan Keeble, my name is J.P. Gilbert. Once again, the final score, St. Joe cruises to a victory, 43-13 over New Prairie. They're 3-0. Looking to go 4-0 next week against the Marion Knights. Until then, we say goodnight from Father Bly Field